Yo.
Ow.
Oh, that feedback.
Hey, guess who's back? Welcome to the Comic Book Geek podcast. We're back after a long holiday hiatus. We have Jonathan. I like to eat tacos. Freeman Anderson. Specs. I am just an icon. And then
Icon
Joey, I prefer backlighting the front lot lighting. So there we go.
Well,
John's trying to eat and not laugh at the same time. So there you go. But it's been a long 4 weeks since we've been here. My back is killing me today, so we're going to try to get through this and not have me swear as we do it. But been a lot of stuff going on since the last time we were here, gentlemen. Lots of stuff. A lot of rumors of stuff. A lot of wars, rumors of wars, all that good stuff that the Bible tells us will happen in the end of days. So Jonathan, we got to go live to Jonathan.
Yes, sir. Coming in hot.
With our news of the week. What do we have, Jonathan?
All right. Well, in the news section, we have a big shakeup in the DC universe. I want to talk about that. James Gunn comes in. He's discussing and pretty much just started axing the Snyderverse. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, I thought that they kind of much axed the Snyderverse to begin with, except for the little few stragglers that are still doing all right, like Aquaman.
Well, Wonder Woman 3
is gone.
For example, Patty Jenkins came on set and they didn't want to listen to any of her ideas, so she just emailed the Warner Brother executives a link to the Wikipedia article, quote, character arc. So they kind of refused what her input was and just said, I'm done with it. But James Gunn did follow up with rumors to show how like they were progressing. They weren't just destroying everything. They want to do like a Kingdom Come. If you remember Alex Ross's Kingdom Come, that's where it looks like they're moving forward with that. And I'm actually down with that idea. I'm excited about it. It just definitely doesn't mean you're going to see like necessarily, Ben Affleck or something like that. You might end up seeing, somebody else of a different variety because of how that storyline goes.
Yeah.
And
along with that, the whole Jim or whatever the heck is Superman kind of crap that's going on. One day he's in, one day he's out. It's all like rumors of.
Well, they never confirmed it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's like
Henry.
Yeah, Henry Cavill.
Then with the James Gunn thing, the whole Wonder Woman 3, I don't think they was gonna go with Wonder Woman 3 anyway because the second one did so poorly. Well, it did pretty good, but I guess it was received poorly anyway. Because the first one was so high, then the second one hit so low. So they was like, on the third one anyway. So I don't think it was really new information right there about that third Wonder Woman movie. Where does that cancel? The Shazam?
It's like,
it's Shazam.
Shazam and Flash, that's it, right?
Yeah. And the Flash, I guess, is so... I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of controversy, but they still have plan on releasing the Flash. There's a scene with Henry Cavill that I guess they cut, and there's like rumors about how they're going to release the Flash, but they're going to still keep Doom Patrol and they're still going to keep the Peacemaker, so
all the askew stuff they keeping, but all like I guess like the big three, the Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, they're tossing. I made a comment on social media that like. He's more focused on like C and D-list superheroes versus,
The thing I just read, he said that Superman has to be the key to anything they do because he's their big thing. So there's still going to be Superman.
But he's probably going to be like Nick Fury. He's like in the movie, but it's not his movie.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because I mean, Superman don't talk that much anyway. He says a little monologue here, punch some guys, laser some guy's face, fly away. But Batman's more like the talker, I guess.
Yeah, I was chewing. But
Obviously.
there's some more news. In Doctor Strange 2, they had shown like a quick appearance of the Savage Land, this lost city, which is like a famous realm in the Marvel comics, and that was kind of an illusion that fans have pulled out of the woodwork and have discovered that will probably be featured as part of the X-Men and as their intro to the MCU. And the rumors will continue because Deadpool 3's sort of like the real test, to see how the X-Men will like introduce themselves effectively in the MCU with Hugh Jackman, obviously, but also they're including rumors of X-23. So that's a lot of backstory, background information for Deadpool 3. That's cool. Also, there's some rumors about Shatterstar coming back. The actor who played Shatterstar put some crazy emoji hashtag Deadpool 3. So,
Oh, that's
even though he died in the last one, and who's to say where that goes? But
what's his name?
Louis Tan.
Louis Tan, yeah.
Louis Tan. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that idea is interesting because I appreciate the end of the last Deadpool that he went around doing his own thing to clean up the timelines, if you will. So this could be a good chance if they do Deadpool 3 correctly, and because they're definitely bringing back Hugh Jackman to show certain things that connect the previous X-Men's respectively to the next phase of the Marvel Universe. I mean, there's so much with the Marvel Universe, stuff that like I don't think that they're like sure about right now. But there's a lot of good things for Marvel as far as like the horror, the werewolf thing that came out on Disney Plus was a big hit, and now they have the Midnight Suns video game that just came out, and Disney is seeing a lot of positive traction with all that, which is also hopefully good news for Blade, because previously they had that actor and like he got permission from Wesley Snipes, Maharashi Ali, I believe is his name, if I got it right, to play Blade, but then like Marvel said we're putting it kind of like on the back burner. But with the success of like their horror angle of the universe, maybe that'll be good news.
I know.
I'll wrap it up. I'll try to be.
I know they're thinking to do if they're doing movies, they doing one of those one shots like What Rule by Night instead, because I guess for budget reasons they can make the same quality stuff in the movies, but make it a show instead. Save money on budget, I guess. I think that's more the angle now versus
but I don't think you won't make as much money if you just do those. Like that's why a lot of the actors complain when they do that, because it doesn't get the wide release of a theater where they can make more money.
The movies only on theater for like 3 weeks and it's gone. It's not like before COVID when they stayed in there for like 3 months. So they're not.
Well, I think what they're doing with these specials, like the Werewolf and the Guardians of the Galaxy, like Christmas special, is they get to really drop fun Easter eggs that, like, if you're a really hardcore fan, you pay attention, you'll see. So, like, for example, in the Guardians holiday special, they dropped it was in the nowhere, like the alien like head, and the idea of Nova being there, and like the character Cosmo. Cosmo was in that, like the dog. He was played by the woman from Borat 2, Maria. And so like the end of Guardians of the Galaxy series with Guardians 3 is introducing Adam Warlock, and if you kind of pay attention in the party, I guess there's rumors of showing like elements that would allude to some fans wondering what happens after Guardians 3, and they're thinking Silver Surfer, because like obviously with Fantastic Four being on the lineup for the MCU, that they'll need like Silver Surfer. They'll want something to like sort of bridge the two.
Well, see, I'm not a big Thor fan, but I see they keep promoting, or the internet's promoting it. Thor versus Silver Surfer. So, do y'all know that storyline? And could they use that storyline in the MCU?
Well, they're trying to think of ways in the MCU to bring more of the other characters into it. So, excuse me. There's another rumor going around that they're going to do a Fantastic Four intro with the Thing battling the Hulk in an upcoming Avengers movie. You know, something to like because they've already kind of individually introduced Reed Richards. You know, so
I
in
think
this
it'd be
respect,
better if you gonna bring Thing versus Hulk. I mean, it would be better if like have him like maybe with Spider-Man or Monica Rambeau or something that it makes better sense than flat out the Hulk. You know, I feel like the Hulk be better introduced with like Victor Von Doom or like maybe Sue, maybe even Reed.
well,
They could be
I was
doctors,
hoping
they
it
could
would
be
be.
like scientists working together and like they flip out and then he has to talk to the Hulk and stop him, like that kind of thing.
I mean, I always hoped that they would bring the Hulk, and I mean, not that Fantastic Four isn't something we want to introduce, but they're bringing Wolverine into with Deadpool. But like the next thing would be to bring the X-Men into the Avengers somehow. And the classic Wolverine versus Hulk story was always cool to me. You know, where they fought in Canada and that whole thing. I mean, it wouldn't have to be like a big story; it would just have to be like a flash of them like fighting each other, and everybody would be like, "What was going on in Canada, Hulk?" They'd be like, this multi-clawed freak came at me out of nowhere, you know.
The way they playing it, you probably gonna get She-Hulk versus X-23 or Amadeus Cho. You might get him.
That's true. You might get Eminem and Spider-Man. That just happened.
No, he's Iron Man.
Maybe.
Remember they was chilling at the house.
Yeah, he was still in the house. Yeah, him and Rabbit were just writing raps. He comes up, he's a little kid in Iron Man 2, right? Or Iron Man 3. That's what happens. He turns out to be Eminem. There's a new team up. I don't know if you guys heard about that with Eminem and Spider-Man, and that comic is right now worth up to $800. But like Eminem has been working with MCU with Marvel since 2009. He did something with Punisher, and right now he's in talks, I'm guessing, to find a way to bring in Slim Shady to the MCU. You know,
I mean, if they
because
had
he
Megan
is whoever
Thee
he
Stallion, I don't
says.
think Eminem would be that hard.
Wait, say that again.
They had Megan Thee Stallion there. I don't think Eminem would be that hard.
It's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Well, as far as Hulk news goes, we just talked about that. Harrison Ford is going to play the Hulk, General Thunderbolt Ross, and in the rumors is that he's going to red Hulk out, which would be kind of fun. And then
they kind of need him for Thunderbolts. I mean, he even has the name.
Well,
Thunderbolt
Ross. Nothing to do with it.
But they needed like an anti-Superman kind of characters, what the studios asked for. They're looking for. So apparently, Sentry. You guys remember Sentry?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sentry. Yeah.
Yeah, he's looking to be like the villain because his like alter ego is a character named Void. And so they're talking that like in the Thunderbolts series, Void / Sentry will be like a villain out of the Marvel Knights series. I don't know.
Because he has like a split personality where he's Sentry and he's Void. Void's like
if they do that, they'll get slaughtered. Because they're all super soldiers. They can't.
Yeah. That's why you need the Red Hulk.
James Gunn also. Right. You have to like really armor up. I mean, do you guys like Lobo?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
that would be great. Gamma Flight. But sorry, we're overlapping. Do you remember Lobo?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lobo. Yes.
Yeah. Do you know about the rumors about Jason Momoa playing him?
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that.
You don't think so? You'd rather him stay as Aquaman?
I mean, I think we need somebody a different Lobo, like somebody who's already got a filthy mouth already, like a comedian guy. Like I don't know.
Yeah, but who are you gonna find that looked? I mean, Jason Momoa looks like Lobo. Oh,
you can hashtag it. You can hashtag it and fix that nowadays.
Yeah. They'll find somebody to play him, But like he's right though. You need somebody that's just like trashy and like down and able to play the part. Or something that's.
If Bob Saget didn't die, he'd be perfect.
No, for real.
Who's the guy who's
yeah, it would be fun. I mean, you guys are into wrestling. Wouldn't some wrestler be able to play the part?
Well, they can't act anyway.
Yeah, most of them can't.
But hey, who's the guy who's friends with David Chappelle, but he's a white guy? He was just on. Oh my God, what's his name? Is it Sean Penn? I don't know. I can't think. I gotta look it up. But
wait, no, are you talking about Neil?
Huh?
You talking about Neil? Neil Brennan? Brennan?
Maybe he did that whole monologue on Saturday Night Live one time.
Oh. Well, I know like or Bradley Cooper.
Their names don't sound familiar. But
Bradley Cooper's friends with Dave Chappelle too.
Yeah. But yeah, this is one
but
guy.
Neil Brennan was the one that created the Chappelle Show with him.
I can't think, but it's the guy. But I say his mouth and jokes.
But I think I know what you're talking about.
You do?
Yeah, no, he's a bigger guy, different white guy.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I forget his name though.
And that's another guy mouth who just go off the wall for just bleep it out every 5 minutes. Frags.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I don't know. If you just let somebody step it up, I bet you could have anybody really like commit to it. Maybe John Leguizamo could do it.
Well, I thought The Rock committed to Black Adam, but he sounds like The Rock and not Black Adam. So.
Yeah, well,
that's what I felt about. We talked about this Chris Pratt and Mario.
Yeah.
I mean, that Here We Go. No, not Here We Go. That Black Who. That sounds pretty good.
This is like just a joke thing, but I was thinking, so we got Dwayne Johnson playing Black Adam. This is just a joke, but then we can just get Jack Black to play Lobo.
I mean,
because you know how Black Adam and Dwayne Johnson and like Kevin Hart and Jack Black are all always in the same fucking movies.
Oh, talking about Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith.
That'd be the opposite of Silent Bob, though.
Yeah.
He'd be kind of a fat Lobo, though.
No, he's lost a bunch of weight.
Well, he's still heavier than Lobo. Lobo's like pure muscle.
CGI, man. I told you, like, this AI, you can just hashtag it. Hashtag muscles, hashtag gray skin, hashtag awesome motorcycle. You know, the computer will make it do all the work.
Can we go back to saying pound and number sign? What has it all got to be hashtag? Come on. I want to bring back, pound James and pound Joe. That doesn't sound right.
See, the reason it's hashtag now is because we don't have dial-up phones anymore. So they don't know about the hashtag.
No, you're right. We don't. I mean, that would be some retro shit.
All right, what's next, Mr. Newsman?
What's next? Well, the only other little bit of news I got is, let's see. Went through all that stuff. Oh yeah, the Hush storyline, Batman news. The next Batman series, the next Batman film has sort of teased that character from the last Batman film. So they're talking about Jeff Loeb, who created the character Hush. Maybe rumors about him, that character, being in the next installment of Batman. Also, Punisher, speculation Marvel will reintroduce Punisher in an upcoming film or TV series.
I thought they already confirmed that they were making a reboot to Punisher. Was that just Deadpool that Daredevil they confirmed what they were doing a reboot of?
They definitely confirmed Daredevil out of She-Hulk.
See, I thought they was going to do Punisher and put him on Hulu.
Oh, they're not going to put anything on Hulu.
Yeah, Cloak and Dagger didn't work.
Well, the Hellstorm, whatever that shit was.
Yeah.
The Hellcat solo series or Hellstorm?
No, Hellstorm. That movie, that show that was on Hulu that got canceled before it even ended the first season.
Right.
And what about the one about the duck? Not duck. The monkey. Hit Monkey.
Oh, Hit Monkey.
Oh, I want Hit Monkey to come back. That was great. You guys see Hit Monkey with Jason Sudeikis doing the voice of the ghost Hitman?
Nope.
No, I've seen the trailers for it. I just never got to see it.
It was so
MODOK.
That was great because they had Silver Samurai in it, and they had all these like outside Marvel characters that you don't normally see pop up.
You know what? I didn't like MODOK.
Oh, MODOK was lame, but I saw it. It was the same guys that did Robot Chicken.
Yeah, but it didn't feel like that. It felt like more like Team America almost to me.
Yeah, I mean it was.
America.
They were trying really hard. So the comic books that from the Golden Age era of Namora, because you want to talk about Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. The character Namora, Namor, and the
Namor.
other
Yeah.
Come
Tuna.
on, man. You in California. You should know these Spanish names by now.
They're not Spanish,
It's
but they are now.
Atlantean.
They're Atlantean.
Namor.
They're
Yo,
Spanish now, I guess.
that's all retcon now. It's all
Yeah,
retcon.
it's all Spanish now. But I don't mind it because it really pumped up the culture out here. Like everybody was Aztec for Halloween and shit. Like it became like a real thing out here for like the Aztec community, the culture, the people that wanted to like have an identity of it. You know, and I think in the movie they did an okay job of trying to attempt to show like the culture underwater. You know, like they did the basketball kind of thing.
It said they cut out a lot of scenes, like it says it alluded to like a romance between Namor and Shuri, but they say it was more scenes of them actually inside, whatever that place is called, and
Oh
you
yeah, the underground, the underwater.
yeah,
like
Telecon or whatever it's called.
yeah, Technotalon.
Yeah, they say it was more scenes, so you actually see the world they lived in more. I guess they had to cut it since they left it
Oh,
in.
there's a lot of that stuff that was probably on the cutting room floor because a lot of it was like kind of decided in various stages, you know. But you know, it's still interesting because the side characters from Submariner's story, you know, their value and their original like appearances are like going through the roof. Like in the Golden Age, they put out a 3-issue comic book series of Namora, her own,
Yeah.
right? And those 3 books are going for crazy prices right now, simply because she was just like a part of the movie, just a little bit, right? I mean, she had a decent part as far as like the villain's like right hand woman or whatever, and as well as like Atuna, that's his name, right? How do you say the other Atuma? Yeah, so those are both major Submariner characters, you know,
Yeah.
and those are both like
Namorita or whatever they call it. She's actually, what the heck was that teen group called? Oh, I can't remember now. It was just there with Night Thrasher and Speedball.
Oh yeah, that's back in the day. I know
Yeah,
what
but
you're
that's like
talking
where
about.
she was. That's where she was introduced at in that group.
Yeah, well, so but Namora, which is like Namor's cousin,
Yeah,
was introduced a long time ago. You know, but so like this whole like you're right, it was like retcon as far as a lot of like the ideas of some of like how some of these original characters came about. I don't like the idea of Mexicans being the villains, you know, Latinos being the villains, you know,
I
and the
mean, they
whole
wasn't really
idea of
the
having like
villains, you know. I mean, who's the real villain there? You know,
I mean, but
society.
why
You
were
know,
they like, oh, you want to get in our way, African nation, we will fight you now? It gets weird. Like the white people were their enemy, and all of a sudden, just because we were there, like, hey, let's talk about it.
that's America for you though.
You know,
You get with it,
before
get
you come and
down.
attack us, they're like, no, you're the first.
That's America though. You know, if you
But say
about to
again?
go fight, you know, the Japanese. Hey, if you don't join us, we drop a nuke on you too. Okay, you want to join us? Okay, that's how America is. You know.
Right. I mean, so the whole thing was just one giant like setup, you know, for like them to be at the end. Well, when they need us, they have to turn to us anyway, you know. And it's kind of like we had to sit through a whole thing for them to get to that idea.
But I mean, my thing is, what kind of should have? Damn. What kind of should have? I don't know. Did it better because like, that vibranium thing. You don't want them considering your vibranium. They got vibranium. You need to keep. Everybody needs to keep their own vibranium. They need to work that out instead of being like, "Oh, we don't know what's going on, but hey, you know, y'all need to chill out with the vibranium machine." No, tell them folks that these unwanted people can't come to kill. They change colors and they got super strength.
There's a thing I just read. It actually came out yesterday, John. This news article came out yesterday. And I thought it would be interesting for Caden because it says Scout Comics teams with CRISPR Comics, and Mucho Mas Media for Latinx superhero universe.
Oh, that is interesting. Yeah. Which reminds me, she has a new two books that just came out, Ala Brava and Mexica. And this is Ala Brava, which is like the first ever all Latina superhero team.
Did we interview her?
And it's
Yeah.
an anime style. Did we talk about this?
I was like, hey.
No, he asked if we interviewed her, and I was like, yeah.
Oh yeah, that looks familiar.
Oh yeah, no, we interviewed her back in the day, but she has 5 origin stories, and she finally came out with the team up story, and then in the at the end of the book, which she just introduced her first princess.
Oh, that's right. I do remember saying about that.
Let's see, where is she? So this is the first Latina princess story, Mexica, which kind of like works out really well for the whole Namor scene. Really brilliant colors.
Yeah, go to a different page.
She's got like the whole Aztec culture thing, and she's got like a pet ocelot or whatever. And it's definitely meant for like younger audiences. Some of the colors and the ideas of the book.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Caden's hard at work, and she just did LA Comic-Con, did decent there,
Nice.
I mean, that's really cool though. It's all self-published. So we got to meet Jeff Loeb actually at a previous Comic-Con, and I gave him a bunch of her books, and he said that he would check them out. So that's always cool. What do you got there, Joey?
So you guys were talking about like screwball or speedball or whatever.
Yes, speedball.
Well, I remember.
I mean, not in an illicit way.
Yeah. Oh, Penance, because that's who he becomes.
Yeah, I forgot I had because it's issue 1 whenever he becomes Penance, when he first gets the armor and everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I was thinking like I think I have a book where he becomes where Speedball becomes Penance, and I was like looking for it in like the thousands of books that I have.
Yeah, because he caused the whole Civil War thing.
Yeah.
Speedball. They're like, let's take the weirdest character we have and make him cause a civil war between superheroes.
I mean, Deadpool is kind of like that too, right?
Yeah. Well. But trying to think if I had anybody else had anything else they wanted. I'm just going through.
Oh yeah, I got one last thing. I got one last thing. How do you feel about the Green Lantern HBO Max series, Jon Stewart? It was originally going to be done with a whole bunch of this elaborate sort of Game of Thrones style, where they meet all these different Green Lanterns, and then with the whole shakeup of the DC universe and people trying to figure out where everything's going to land, they've decided it's just going to be Jon Stewart. And with that announcement, their first appearance at like a 9.8 condition has been announced at 14,500 for a Green Lantern.
I just seen something on here. I have to look. This was just from like 2 hours ago. In this, there's this thing. One of the things says James Gunn calls Superman biggest priority for DCU, debunks rumor of Henry Cavill feud, and then the next one says James Gunn says Green Lantern content is important. So
yeah,
I'm just trying to read through it real quick.
Still a go.
Talking about.
I mean. It's at least he's not trying to like destroy it all. I mean, I'm a James Gunn fan, I mean, I'm like, I got like a little chip on my shoulder because he like he quoted one of my tweets one time when I talked about a movie he wrote, Project Bilko, because it came out a while ago, but right after Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, he wrote it and released it. It didn't do anything. It was a really fun movie, but it's similar to the Squid Game. So I put it out there, and I was like, hey, if everybody loves the Squid Game, you're going to really love this movie, Project Bilko. And then, like, James Gunn re-quoted it, and he was like, well, I have to admit that, my movie that I wrote was inspired by a couple other films, like Battle Royale and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, so that little thing, I was like, okay, cool. He interacts with his fans. He re-quotes stuff. He's cool. I hope he, like, does the right thing by DC, and kind of cleans up a lot of the bullshit that the other guy sort of alluded to, the one that like got rid of Batwoman and all that.
Yeah.
Like, I just everybody hated that dude.
Well, he's still there. He's in charge. He's the head of Warner Brothers Discovery or whatever it's called. I mean, so he's still there.
But
So,
maybe James Gunn can like.
Yeah, but they put James Gunn and Safran in charge of the DCEU. So,
Hey,
So,
we talked about would it be a good movie? Boost the Gold might become one of the TV shows. We did like one of our first episodes. We talked about Blue and Gold.
yeah,
That's one of his picks.
I feel like if they're going to introduce
Gold.
Booster Gold into anything, it will have to be Blue Beetle. Because Booster Gold and Blue Beetle have like.
But that Blue
Would they
Beetle
do Guy Gardner
movies
too?
that.
Yeah, it's Jaime Reyes, but still, they
Yeah,
can introduce.
it's not the same.
Jaime Reyes gets the Blue Beetle from Blue Beetle.
No,
he doesn't.
Two different.
They
things.
have no connection.
Two different.
They have no connection whatsoever.
One's an alien. One's a technology.
Yeah.
Well, because I don't
know. No.
No.
They have there's no connection between them two at all anywhere. Now the new Adam, he was a student of
Ted Cord.
No, the Adam. He was a student of the original Adams, and that's how he became the Adam.
So I have two things to say. So I don't know if anyone
forgot about that guy.
The two things yesterday, I don't know if anyone's seen or really cared to see, but the Game of the Year thing was yesterday.
Oh yeah, the Game Awards thing.
So during that, they like to show trailers. So they showed off another trailer for the Rocksteady Suicide Squad game. And at the very end, because it's like showing off Batman, at the very end, it like pays homage to Kevin Conroy, where it's his famous line for Batman: "I am vengeance, I am darkness, I am Batman." Because Kevin Conroy, before he passed, finally his like final character is going to be the Batman in the Arkham game. Because that's like they were able to get all of his lines finished for that. So we're gonna see Kevin Conroy and play Batman one more time
in the Arkham game.
In that game, yeah. I watched the trailer yesterday after. It's Suicide Squad.
It's Suicide Squad versus the Justice League. Yeah, kills the Justice League.
Yeah,
because like they're all infected with something. So
yeah, because it's like
is it a narrative story or like a fighting game?
It's like those other Arkham games.
Yeah, it's like Marvel Alliance. They remember that game back in the day.
I don't. They never really said what kind of game it is.
The Batman Arkham City and Arkham Asylum, those games, was it like that?
Yeah, it's made by those same people. So
same people. It's like a team up game. Like team up, like
it could most likely be more like Gotham Knights, where it has the battle of when it seems like it's going to be like 4 people play as each member of the Suicide Squad, and then like you're just going through the city and you like fight waves of enemies, and then you got to go and fight like that bad guy or whatever. But I don't know. They really haven't said much about the gameplay. All they've been showing off is trailers. So,
but
I don't know. We don't know yet.
That trailer he's talking about, it's more like a clip and you see, and they're like after they beat the Flash and they drag the Flash in, and it's funny because Captain Boomerang's I was like, you know how long?
Trying to keep him standing up, but he keeps falling over, and so he keeps grabbing him, standing him up, and then just So and then it ends with like Batman with Kevin Conroy's voice.
Yeah, and they're like, and Harley's like, oh, don't worry, he doesn't kill anyone, and then that dead body drops, and he's like,
oh my god,
Bat, are you okay?
We get to see Batman kill someone.
Yeah, because he's got that.
Yeah, he's been. But the same thing as Superman. The very first trailer, they show Superman disintegrate a dude into literal ash.
Yeah.
But the second announcement was another thing dealing with the Game of the Year. They announced a Hellboy game, and so I know they made one like a long time ago that wasn't that good, but this one looks to be more like.
I bought that one. I'm not gonna lie to you. I bought that Hellboy game. It was
awful. The new one that they're making seems to be a lot of like if you ever played the Devil May Cry games where it's like that beat 'em up game.
That's fun. That's pretty cool.
But it's going to be it's gonna be like that, but it's in the art style of Mike Mignola. So it's a 3D like art like Mike Mignola game. So it's like all like deep cell shading and everything like that. It's like a dungeon crawler beat 'em up game. where you get to play as Hellboy. Like they showed off like a small amount of gameplay where he was fighting a werewolf and everything, and that was about it. But yeah, I seen that and I was like, that would look cool.
If they do it right, if the effects are good, because those
Yeah.
Devil May Cry games got the effects right.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing with the whole like James Gunn taking over like the movies and stuff, they were basically like from what it seems like they were supposed to bring back I can't think of his name now. The guy who played Batman with the rubber suit and like the stiff neck. I can't think of his name now.
I just named Michael Keaton.
Ben Affleck?
Yeah, Michael Keaton. They were supposed to bring his universe back because
they
Batwoman
canceled
was
all that
canceled,
stuff.
and then they announced that Batman Beyond, the live action movie in his
canceled.
universe, was also canceled. So it seems like they were supposed to bring him back and like have this whole like he was supposed to be the main focus for a while, and then they just canceled, and now the only thing he's gonna be in is in the Flash, and even then, not a lot of people want to go see that movie because of Ezra Miller. A lot of people are going to boycott it. The same thing as Aquaman 2 because of Amber Heard's, and a lot of people want to boycott the movie.
Well, just people that don't like shit on their pillow.
Or
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
I think Pina is going to say something about that. I mean, they want to treat animals correctly. So,
hey, while you talking about video game trailers, Star Wars: The Survivor trailer dropped as well.
Oh yeah, I seen that. It looks pretty cool. What's his name? The guy who plays him. He's a lot older now. It's like in the game they gave him a beard and everything.
Yeah, I'm thinking the way it's setting up, like this is my little fan theory, that he made his own Jedi Academy in the outer regions, so they'll have the void from like Luke Skywalker's ones being destroyed, and he had his own academy out there, and they're gonna play off that because not having a Jedi Academy in the new run of Star Wars, it sounds stupid. So I think they're just using him to build him up as like a Luke Skywalker character because the stuff he's doing in that video games is crazy. Like I don't think even Starkiller was doing stuff like that. So
yeah.
I think they built him up to be like the new Luke Skywalker and the boy from Rebels to be like a Cal Katarn maybe or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know in Ahsoka, we get to see Ezra Miller. I'm not Ezra Miller. Ezra Bridger.
Yeah. I wonder because they keep mentioning that they're gonna bring the guy from like the Jedi Survivor and like whatever those games. They're talking about always. They keep mentioning that they're gonna bring him into live action, but they still haven't. Like because literally it's the same guy who's playing him in the game.
Yeah.
Well, going off what they said. They said they are gonna bring him in, but they don't want to bring him in and ruin the stuff that's in the game, or the game might ruin the stuff in the future. So they want to finish one project for it because, right now that game taking place the same time as Obi-Wan. So whatever happens in the game, you gotta do the time skip to I guess the Mandalorian time. So we just gotta play the game and find out. But they already say he's gonna pop up in the Mandalorian Boba Fett time frame. But he's the same age as Ahsoka. So he's like he could be like 45-ish in the TV show. So yeah, I think he's 45 in real life too, ain't he?
I don't know.
I think he's younger than. I think he's only like in his 30s. I know he's pretty young. He's not that old. Maybe he's like just early 30s.
All right. Well, I guess the news didn't take us 3 hours, did it, Jonathan? But
I guess not.
Well, it took long enough. They got to take a smoke break.
That's true. Yeah. I'm going back to the OG brick wall for the rest of the show.
So he could steal the neighbor's Wi-Fi because his Wi-Fi is terrible.
Don't tell everybody my secrets.
Hey, I got a LAN connection now. That's why I'm not blipping out. It's all LAN. Bought me a 30-foot cord.
Bought me a 30. When I was using the crappy internet, I asked my one. So I don't remember who it was. My son or my nephew was like, how long of a cord? Do you think 25 feet will reach from there to my? Oh, I don't know. You better get 50 feet. And how much, Joey? How much I
It
have
was
wrapped
like
around?
he had, yeah, about like that much wrapped because it was too long.
25 feet would have been too long.
Yeah, you maybe only would have needed like a 10, maybe even 15.
10,
I'll
15.
probably-
Yeah.
Just scoot the
But-
laptop back a little bit.
Yeah. But I guess we should get into what we're here for. And that is talk some
Yeah.
comic books.
Cupcakes? Oh.
What?
Mhm.
Cupcakes.
Cupcakes.
Oh Lord.
Cupcakes.
Cupcakes. We're gonna start a baking show.
Snoop Dogg did it.
We could do it.
I want to get his cookbook. He has like a lot of cool recipes.
James, come on, man. You don't want him to get his cookbook. I mean,
They
unless
are.
he's
Josh will be really mad that you're still in his stash then.
unless you're sharing. Are you gonna share with the rest of us?
I ain't driving the whole way out to fucking Los Angeles.
You gotta just
Or
mail it, man.
Mail it,
Trust the
man.
mail.
I hope we have to be some strong ass wrap, like some like very airtight sealing. That shit.
Oh yeah,
leaks
people do
from-
it all the time though. People say,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's a YouTube video to show you how to do it.
Yeah, put it at the
Yeah.
bottom of the coffee can. Just go get some coffee. Take all the coffee out, put it at the bottom of it, and pour the coffee back on top of it.
Bleep, 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 bleep. We ain't trying to get demonetized.
Oh yeah, but
Well,
only
depends.
for,
We might get monetized by somebody else.
yeah, Folgers. You know, the best part of waking up is a mail package from Joey. You know what I mean? I open that up. I'm like, put this in your cup and drink it.
A little K cup, huh?
Yeah.
Exactly. We'll call it an herbal cup. It'll be an herbal remedy.
So we have a bunch of weeks of comic books to go through. I don't think we're going to spend a whole lot of time on each of these because I've read I have 4 pages of notes of books I read. So
I definitely
know
want to
how
talk about
many-
last issue of Spawn from last.
yeah,
I
Yeah.
definitely want to talk about that. I was so upset when they canceled that because I wanted to talk about it so much.
yeah. We'll get to that one, but we're going to start. I just went through the order that I read them in. I'll start, and then after, if you've read any of these, you could go ahead and add your 2 cents, and then whichever ones I don't bring up, you can then bring up if you read anything other than these ones. So the first one on my list was the 06 Protocol #2 from Aftershock. That's written by Lee Turner. It's art by Cliff Richards. Matt Horns does the colors, and Cardinal Ray does the letters on this book. In this issue, it seemed like a while since we got issue 1. Like it seemed like maybe 6-8 weeks in between there. It was a long break. I had to go back. I kind of remembered the story. It's about a husband and wife who they are, I don't know what the word is, attacked in their home by a home invasion. Husband gets killed, and you find out he was like the spy
Oh
working
yeah,
for this
the one that was
group
training the
called
wife.
called Wasp. They bring the wife in to talk to her, and you find out she is something called an IM, which are like these sleeper agents that they had made, and they were being activated, but when they do, they go nuts and they kill people. Like they had one that went in and shot up a school, the other one took over a plane and things like that. And so she takes off because somehow she knew how to do all this stuff, and she took off. She escaped, and that's where we pick up this month. Kat is running from Wasp, and she goes to rescue her daughter and her friends. And Wasp wants them all dead now, and they're heading to DC to find the cure for the IMs. So this is kind of where we're at now in this story. The first issue I liked a lot more than this one. I think this one is kind of just setting us up to here's the mission. This is what we're trying to do in these next couple issues. So I don't know if any of you guys had read that one this last month.
Which one was that?
06 Protocol #2.
No, I didn't read that one yet.
Jonathan?
Nope.
All right. So, I will. This is a question I was wondering too. I wanted to ask this before we move on. How long do you guys give a book before you give up on it? Like, how many issues?
It depends
I
how
try to
long the
just read
series
all of it.
is.
I
Like,
try to push myself to read all of it. That's usually what I do.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
I
how
mean,
long?
I'm in that category too. I'll try to read all of it, but like if it's something where I just know it's endless, I might skip to the end. You know what I mean? I might just. I was trying to watch the Preacher TV series with a friend of mine, and we got through like season 4, episode like 4, and I know there or no 6, and I knew there's 4 more episodes left. And she's like, "I'm done with it. I can't see the Santa Killers anymore. I'm fucking over these characters. I'm sorry."
What? That show was great.
That's what I said. I was like, "Don't you want to see the ending?" And she was like, "No, I know how it's gonna end. He's gonna be God, and Tulip's gonna win, and that's the end of the day." And I was like, "She's like, just too much over and over and over." And so I agreed. Some people love certain things. I love The Preacher, but like watching my friend's reaction, it was like I was torturing her.
Yeah.
And I understood like I don't want to put any pressure on somebody else to finish something. I already saw it.
They're
You know
not
what I mean?
enjoying. Yeah.
yeah, that's how it was with Stranger Things. Like, I haven't watched. I got 4 episodes in, and I was like, yeah, no. But people love that TV show.
I got to season 2 and I was like, yeah, I'm not watching any of this. I'm done.
Yeah, but comic book wise, man, like New Mutants. Like, I got 4 issues in, and I haven't read it since, and I think it's like on issue like 40 right now. Like,
Yeah, it's up there somewhere.
I literally give like comic books like until the first subplot or sub art is done, and if that's crap, I don't want to finish the rest of it.
Yeah,
Well,
'cause,
I had it. Go ahead.
one of the books that we started reviewing at one point was that Seven Sons, and I quickly, like after the first issue, I was like, I tried to read the second issue and I couldn't, and so I haven't put it back on the list because I can't stand reading it. So I assume none of you guys could read it either. So,
You know,
but
like what happened to the Calculator Man? What happened to that book?
I haven't seen it in a while.
Oh, you just haven't seen it? I thought you just like, well, Phil's
Nope.
not here no more, so X.
Nope. It hasn't come out yet, a new issue. So at least I haven't seen it if it did. But that was my question because I've been like going through some of these that I like. Some of them I just read out of habit, and I'm like, why am I still reading this? Like it's not even good.
Well, Suicide Squad, I was reading it right up until the end of the Earth 3 thing. Then I was like,
yeah.
It's not even a good series. It's not even a good book. I'm not reading this no more. And I just stopped cold turkey.
Yeah. But our next book is The End. It's Absolution, issue 5 out of 5. So we finally come to the end of this story. This is from AWA Upshot. It's written by Peter Milligan, art by Mike Diodato, Lee Lowridge is the colors, and Steve Wands does the lettering. As I'm going through this Lee Lowridge, he did a bunch of books that I have on my list this week. I just happened to notice that. But,
yeah, we tend to do that. We follow the same pattern when we read our books. It's crazy.
But in this issue, 5 out of 5, Nina, if you haven't been following along, Absolution is a story about Nina, who was a assassin in this like kind of futuristic place where it kind of reminds you of Running Man. So she gets arrested. They put a bomb in the back of her head, and she has to go and kill people pretty much for the pleasure of her viewers who are live streaming this constantly.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I
remember that concept.
If she can get what they call absolution to 100%, she'll survive. But she only has so much time to do it. So we're getting near the end of her time.
The end of the end.
And the end of the last issue, Nina was tricked by one of her followers who said that he knew where this child murderer was staying, but here he was actually laying a trap for her, and now she's at his mercy. And the question I posed for those who haven't read it, will Nina die before she reaches absolution? Again, I like this book. I love the concept of it. It gave me that like 90s kind of action movie, a little bit of Judge Dredd, Running Man kind of vibes. Definitely feels like it could be made into a movie, but the end, I will say, it's not spoiling it. They do leave it like a cliffhanger. So if they decide to do a second series of this, it is open to move on from there. But did anyone read Absolution number 5 out of 5?
I believe I did, but it probably been a while ago. Right? I remember I like that. I like the series. I was enjoying it. So, you said movie wise, I don't know. I think it'd be good as like a web series or like maybe a TV show, just for all like the little blips that comes on there. They can like really do some good marketing with it. They can like put it on YouTube and actually have like people chat on the side, and they can incorporate that to the show. Like they can do a lot with this story, like in modern times wise, and make it real. They can make it like one of the interactive movies, like on Netflix, like on
Black
Mirror type thing. Yeah, that'd be dope.
But yeah, this reminded me of the movie Nerve a little bit. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yes.
You know, and the idea of like somebody having to play to people watching and spectators or like participants, you know, in some kind of game. I always thought that'd be kind of fun if it was like safe, you know, like there was something sort of like scavenger hunt or you know, what do they call it? Geocaching. Yeah, like within reason, but like if it gets like dangerous, like, oh, go find this prize in a volcano, you know, you have to like, you know, figure out like what's makes more sense. But in this respect, it's for life or death, you know. And so I don't know if you ever read the Neuromancer novels back in the day. The third of those series dealt with something similar in this respect, you know, with as far as like needing to have a certain amount of viewers for Absolution and all that, you know. And yeah, Black Mirror, totally. The Margot Robbie episode with Black Mirror, you know.
I don't know if y'all remember, but remember in the 90s, it was like a show where the guys, they went and did like different quests. It was totally scripted though, but they did different quests. Like the same like villains would pop out and try to fight them, but it was like it was doing like kung fu type stuff. It was like the same time frame as American Gladiator type stuff.
Oh yeah. And I know what you're talking about. It was all set up.
It looked like Mortal Kombat type stuff, but it wasn't. But people did quests every day, and they get attacked by the same 5 guys every episode.
Power Rangers.
I remember that.
No, it wasn't.
That's like the
It
reverse
wasn't
Power Rangers.
actual show. It was live action, but like it was scripted. I can't think how.
No, this sounds familiar. It's like the reverse Captain Planet. Why are these 5 people attacking us? Who's this guy turning us into trees?
All right. So the next book that I read was I Hate Fairyland, Volume 2, Number 1, by Scotty. It's from Image Comics, Scotty Young, Brett Bean. I can't remember the other 2 people. It's the same creative people behind the original I Hate Fairyland. I don't know if any of you guys have read I Hate Fairyland, but Gert was lost in Fairyland for like 30 years. So she was an adult trapped in this child's body. And when it just made her mad and angry, and like it got really violent. So it's drawn like Scotty Young. It's like Scotty Young's art, all bright and, you know, cartoony looking, and she's just killing things in Fairyland, like bashing them with giant hammers, cutting them with swords. But it's all Scotty Young's nice little.
Yeah, I wanted to read that book. I forgot about it, but yeah, I like the cover art. I was in the synopsis, I guess.
Yeah. So in this one, Gert's back in the real world. She's trying to work a real job, and she just keeps losing her jobs because all of her life experience is in Fairyland. Nothing, nothing she did fits into a real job. So at the end, she gets a job offer from this guy. But the only thing is she has to go back to Fairyland, the place she hates more than any place in the world. To do this job, she has to return to Fairyland. So we'll have to see if she decides to go back or not. John took a picture of his shirt and put it as a thing because he couldn't just like put
the graphic
one on.
I couldn't find it. I was looking for it.
Hey, the show was called WMAC Masters. That was the name of the show.
WMAC.
Oh, I remember that now. It was like, yeah, it was, yep. Actually, they made action figures for them too. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, they had
So-
action figures for everything back in the day.
So if you haven't read this, and the good thing about this, if you haven't read the first volume of it that went, I don't know how many issues, you don't really need to read it because they do like the first part of it is these characters in fairyland and the father's telling the daughter a fairy tale about Gert. So you kind of get the whole story that way. But even like in the previously in kind of stuff in the cover, they give you a little bit there, and then he says, or you can just go back and read the old comic books, but you already bought this one. So you might as well just read this one now. And so you have that. But if you haven't read it, it's still in the drive. So I'd make sure you
I will check it out. Thank you. I've not read it.
Speaking of fairy tale stories, what happened to that one book we was reading? I think the girl, she was like, I don't say not Robin Hood, but some other character, and she found the other guy in it, like an older guy that was before her. We read it. Oh man,
I vaguely remember what you're talking about too. Like we did read it, and it had something like grim fairy tale related, right?
yeah. She took the mantle of some fairy tale person, but the guy was still alive.
Yeah, no, wasn't it Hansel and Gretel?
No, it was that Fables. But nobody, I don't think no one said they wanted to read it because it was already like issue 140 something, so I never put it back on again.
Well, if they start a new storyline within that, I would read it. I knew it was good though.
I mean, because when we read it, everyone's like, "Well, I didn't read the last, so it was kind of hard to figure out what's going on."
Well, that's what that's a majority of our books, though.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. That's why I always try to pick like interesting, like wrap up books, annuals, number ones, things that we can like all kind of collect, or like when we go through like a series, you know, like whatever it was, Texas Blood, or some of those like other series, we can all go, oh yeah, I still don't get it together. When
Like
we can
Grimm.
collectively say we don't understand it, but together.
Yeah.
Like Grimm, where the hell is Grimm at?
Oh,
yeah, where is Grimm?
That first story arc's over. We got to wait for the second story arc to start.
Okay.
Well, they got to develop it. It's HBO now. Like what's going on?
I don't know. Well, it might even be out this week. I haven't got this week's books yet. I only got the Marvel books this week. So.
Well, I don't think it is because the trade just came out.
Oh, well, check. Because it's a continuation. It's not like a miniseries. You know, it's a ongoing.
Yeah, it's like it would. Yeah.
Yeah.
But do they put out omnibuses of those always, right?
Probably.
Omnibus
I mean,
or
at least, probably they do trades at least because that's what all the comic book industry is now focused on is trades.
Right.
But the next book I read from Boom Studios is Once Upon a Time at the End of the World. Jason Aaron, Alexandria Tefengi, and Lee Lowridge again doing the colors in this book.
Yeah.
And this, from what I because there doesn't give you a whole lot of backstory, you're kind of just like thrown into it. So it's in a post-apocalyptic world that seems to be flooded, and it's filled with sea monsters and like other kind of monsters. I don't know. And there's this lone girl who stumbles across a boy, Mako, who is living in a tower that he's lived in his whole life and has never left. But when Mezzi, who's the girl who was found the tower, when she continues her journey, Mako decides to follow her and leaves on an adventure. I don't know if you've read this, but I'm really looking forward to see where this story goes because the end gives you it jumps ahead to show you like the end of the story, and so you're like, oh, how do we get from here to there? So I'm looking forward to continue reading this. Of course, it's Jason Aaron, so you didn't expect anything less than something
amazing,
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. That's always great.
Did you read this, Jonathan? It was a group book.
No, I know of it, yes, and I dabbled in it. I thought the artwork was excellent. You know, I have this list of group books that I was looking at.
All right, well, we'll get to them. just
Yeah.
wanted to see.
So what else we got? Oh, I'm sorry. Let's get back to your stuff. Sorry.
So far, those 3 books that I've done were all group books, just so you know.
Yeah. I read most of them.
Just so you know. All right. So the next book I read was Two Graves, #1 from Image.
Oh
Yes.
man.
Genevieve Valentine with the writer. Ming Doyle, the art. Lee Lugridge again did the colors. I had no idea what was going on in this book at all.
Yeah, I mean,
At first, I thought that like it was like she was somebody who was going out and getting vengeance for people who got murdered or something, like, because there was this girl who I guess this guy killed
Was hanging
years
out with
ago.
Death.
Yeah, and
Wasn't
then
it
is this
Death?
guy Death? I don't know what he is. I have no idea. Obviously, the guy could see him in the truck because he slams on the brakes and not to hit him. But when she's in the diner, no one else can see him.
Right.
well, when they're about to die, they see him, but they don't
Yeah.
see him. They see a person that they want him to look like. So
How
like,
do you know that? How do you know that? Where did you
because
get
in the
that
room,
from?
when he killed the old lady, he says it.
I didn't.
She
Get
was like,
that.
who? She said, who does who does she see you as? He says, I don't know. Then he says,
Yeah,
"Go ahead."
because
He says, I never know. I just know they see somebody who they want to see.
yeah, but I mean, I just figured that meant because she was crazy. Like, I didn't even know he was deaf. That's what I assumed he was deaf because he keeps saying about how he doesn't want her to do this certain things because she's
Yeah.
dying, and
He
he's
could
like,
But he's also got.
It could
He's
be
not
just be
dying.
a Reaper, and like it could be like the same storyline with Deadpool and Lady Death. Like
Yeah, they
he's
see her.
attracted to the girl because she can't die.
and then at the end,
She's immortal. She walks off the cliff.
Just she can't
yeah,
die.
like she's like walking across the air, and this kid because
Yeah,
he's
and
like,
everybody sees her.
I brought you here so that people could see you, and
But
so she
let's go.
walks.
It's a weird story.
Yeah, it's very. I mean, I'll read probably #2 just so I could try to figure it all out.
Well, what was all
It's
the little written inserts? You guys read the little written inserts?
I can't read those things. I have.
I gave it a shot because I was like, all right, I'm gonna be hardcore, and like it's all like trying to add science and poetry into the book.
Yeah,
And like
I tried. I was like, I don't like reading textbooks when I'm reading my comic books.
yeah, no, the whole thing is trying to like incorporate death as like
And stars. It's like some kind of when people
yeah,
die,
we're
they
all
become
connected.
stars,
There's a
or when stars die, they
connected
become people.
the atoms. It's all supposed to be like what is it cosmic and like supernatural philosophy and stuff that you don't normally talk about. But like how does it make sense with the Two Graves title was what I was thinking.
Because they killed 2 people in the comic.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
Unless 2 graves are probably the 2 people, maybe they're both dead, and she just doesn't know it yet.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing is maybe she doesn't know it yet. But there's like other things going on here. Is it multiverse type stuff? Is it like
there's
recurring
something
themes?
else that we don't
Recurring
know.
themes. There's like repetitive themes that happen.
well,
And
she's not. I don't know if she's not dead, or I don't know if she's dead. She can't die, but I don't think she's able to move forward because I think she want to see her mom, but she's not able to see her mom because she can't die. So is that whole thing going on?
I don't know, but we'll definitely read issue 2 when it comes out.
I mean, I'll try.
Yeah, you'll try to read a comic book.
Yeah, I read a bunch. Did you read
It's not in the it's not in the title of the show or anything.
Specs #1? Did you read Specs #1?
That's what I'm going to next. Specs #1 from Boom Studios, written by David M. Boyer. Chris Sheehan does the art. Roman Stevens. It's about 2 high school teens. They acquire a pair of magic glasses from the back of a comic book, an old 80s comic book, and they go on a wish-a-thon. That's all, because I don't want to spoil it, but that's pretty much what happens. As any 17-year-old kids that realize glasses that will give you, that will fulfill your wishes would do.
They're dangerous.
Yeah.
It's like Stranger Things meets Tales from the Crypt.
Hey, what was the studio who made Dogs in London? Was that Image or Boom?
It was neither of those. It was Dynamite. No, not Dynamite. Where's my other? Give me my other notebook out, and I'll tell you who it was. Maybe Aftershock. Aftershock did Dogs of London.
Way to go, man! You were on top of it.
That's why I have my notebooks.
Yeah. No, it was a funny one because I didn't expect the situation to go so dark at the end.
Yeah.
But, you know.
And of course, there's some other themes, and I don't. I learned
Welcome
early on to not focus on those parts of the story.
Right.
But there is, underlying between the two main characters.
Do y'all think it's gonna be a time jump from like when he's a teenager to like?
Oh yeah. I think at the beginning he is an adult and he's going back and telling the story because he said it's been long enough now. Yeah, he said it's long enough now that we can peel the flesh off, and so that's definitely when they're adults and something has happened to make him decide to tell the story.
This kind of goes back to the news thing, but I just got things saying that some people are starting to get their Batman versus Spawn issues early, so that means it might be coming out very soon. It's going to probably be coming out very soon.
Yes. I have mine ordered. I can't wait. And they just released the original one from back in the 90s.
I gotta pee. Oh, I gotta pee.
I think I have that one.
It was a DC version and then a Image one. So there was like two, because back when they used to do crossovers like that, each company got to do their own.
Yeah.
The only one that's in canon though is the one that Todd McFarlane did, where
Batman does
the batarang in
he splits his face. Yeah. That's why his face looked so weird for the longest time.
Why he had the shoelace for a while. But Specs, did you read Specs #1?
Yeah, I read it.
And
what was your thought? You might have told me, and Joey interrupted me and made me forget. I'm like a dog. I have a very short-term memory.
Yeah, it was cool. I like the it was a good dialogue and good build up on it. It just I just want to know, like, was that just like introducing all the characters and like even though like how many wishes? What was the consequence with the wishes? Because they're teenagers.
That's what I'm saying. Is there something that happens like later on that makes them say, "Oh, I need to come back and tell people what happened"? Like,
it has to be something because he didn't never say that him and the black guy are still friends. So something had to happen for them not be friends anymore.
Yes. The only other I think group book that I read, and then I can get into my personal books, was Spider-Man: The Lost Hunt. Lost Hunt #1. That's J.M. DeMatteis. I can never say his name. Edgar Macias does the art. Beldario Bravo did the inks, I believe. And this takes place during the time when Peter had lost his powers and him and MJ had moved to Portland, and she was pregnant with the baby that they retro took out. So this is when Ben is in New York being Spider-Man, I assume, because Peter is in Portland without his powers.
Well, I mean, it's the name is Ben Riley. Ben literally is in New York, but Peter Parker under the name Ben Riley is in Portland with Mary Jane.
It's also ironic that we just got finished with the Ben Riley series that it shows what's going on the other side of this. And now we get this.
And it was written by the same person, actually, just so you know.
Well,
because J.M. was the writer on Spider-Man during the Clone Wars saga. So,
well, to echo Joey, going back to the news thing really fast, I wanted to point out that Chasm, aka Ben Riley, along with his girlfriend Hallows Eve, will be featured in the Dark Web series.
That came out this week. Came out Wednesday.
Yeah.
That we will be talking about next week on the show.
So there you go. There's some foreshadowing for you. To be continued. Tune in next week. Same geek time, same geek place.
We're not there yet. Don't tell them that. We're not over yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You in such a hurry to go to work?
No, I wanted to talk more about Spider-Man: The Lost Hunt.
All right. Well, anyway, so this takes place then. Well, what's his name?
Craven.
No, it's not
Gregor.
Craven.
It's Gregor. Gregor, who's a friend of the original Craven the Hunter.
Is the guy who taught him, right?
No, he's the one who taught Craven's son.
Oh, okay.
Ivan, whatever.
Craven.
But anyway, he is kind of mad at Craven because Craven brought Peter back to life.
Right.
If you remember the last hunt, he actually kills Spider-Man, but then he brings him back to life, and then Spider-Man makes Craven's life hell. So this guy has tracked Peter to Portland, and now he's hunting him, and he's making him go crazy. That was how the first issue kind of ended. This is the time that I remember Spider-Man a lot because this was the 90s Spider-Man. This is when I was really getting into reading comic books. And we didn't really know any of the stories that took place in Portland. We focused on Ben. You know, they would show us Peter every once in a while. We know he was over there. He was teaching, and, you know, Mary Jane had a job at a school. So it was kind of, that's all we really knew about.
Well, we joke about, you know, like he had to swing around redwoods, and there wasn't many tall buildings.
But he didn't have powers anyway, so he couldn't do it.
You know, yeah. But you know, I like the idea that there was the real Peter Parker living a normal life. Like I always did, but we never really. You're right, never really got. I think they did a Peter Parker #1, something like that, and I have it. And it's him in Oregon. You know.
Yeah, and him not having his powers are kind of like making him go crazy.
Well, make them both go crazy, you know, because Mary Jane, you know, he's got to realize like she's got to matter to his safety matters to her, and she's got to matter something to him, you know. And he's having all these hallucinations, you know.
Yeah.
It's like it's
crazy.
So you what do you think happened like in that living room? You think he just spazzed out by himself and broke?
Oh, that yeah. Oh, yeah. Because if you notice, right before that, the hunter, whatever, Gregor shot like these darts into the room, and then it released that gas, and that's what's making him like see things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Drugged him.
So, do you think the whole series is gonna be him just torturing Peter the whole time?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, basically just a powerless Peter. I mean,
Yeah.
that sounds like a terrible thing to say. It sounds like an infomercial. Do you have a powerless Peter? Maybe you also need to try Craven the Hunter. Yeah, get him. Exactly. You know, for a limited time only, you get 50% off your powerless Peter pills. Sorry, go ahead.
AKA Venom.
AKA Venom. Don't ruin it. Big review.
All right. So now we're into the books that I read. I don't know if anyone else read, but the first one, let me see. There was one back here. Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, #6 out of 7.
Oh, good.
This is from DC Comics, obviously. Joshua Williamson, Daniel Sampry,
I'll be right back.
Alejandro Sanchez, and Jonathan Freeman Anderson is doing that. But this one, if you haven't been following this, the Justice League is dead. Pariah has who is the person who caused the original Crisis on Infinite Earths. Now he wants to bring back the multiverse. So he teamed up with the Dark Army, and they're trying to destroy Earth Prime because Earth Prime has to be destroyed so the other multiverses can live. And the Justice League returns in this book. In this series, you find out, where they've been, but is it going to be enough to save the Earth? We have one more issue after this and a bunch of filler stuff. It seems like this is just dragging on forever. Exactly. That's what I think. So I don't know if anyone else is still.
Why do you think it's dragging on forever?
Because they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do.
Like it just needs to end already. Because all the peripheral stuff, comics around it, have moved on. Like Kal-El is back in Superman. Like we're past this point in the main continuity already. So just get us there already.
It's hilarious though, like what you saying, like how Superman's back and stuff. Like with I'm reading Nubia and I'm reading I Am Batman. They briefly touch on it. Then like I guess it goes on to Dark Crisis books, but I'm like, damn, like they really just living their life and this big event is going on. They don't care.
This issue, the I Am Batman shows up and Dick's like, "What's he doing here?" Like, and he has like one little scene, and that's it. You never see in the rest of the book. He just comes in and like wrecks them and jumps his motorcycle on the back of one of the Dark Army villains, and Dick's like, "What's he doing here?" And then they just continue on. So it's like 2 panels.
At the end of I Am Batman, he makes like, well, maybe I do owe Jonathan something. So I guess from that issue, that's the way he comes with his motorcycle and does the jump, because a whole storyline happened in that for him to do that. But with Nubia, I'm behind, so I don't know how she's joined the Justice League. There was a big old one shot with that. It seems stupid because they have other characters like Nightwing and Yoda Floyd already there. So why need these 2 characters to come too? It's like doubling up. Just like the 2 Blue Beetle thing. Like
that was the best part in the first issue. Why do you need 2 Blue Beetles? You can never have too many Blue Beetles.
Isn't it 2 Black Adams now too?
I don't think.
It's the Black Adam, the young kid with long hair, then it's The Rock.
2 Booster Golds?
No, not 2 Booster Golds yet.
But you know what I'm talking about, though, right?
No universe can handle 2 of them.
Yeah, the one like from
Quote of the day.
I know who you're talking about, but
is he free or is he at a Rock attorney?
I have no idea. I don't read a whole lot of DC. I've been reading this. I read some Batman. I read Deathstroke. And that might. Oh, and I just started reading the next book that I'm going to talk about, which is a book that I've been waiting for a good while. They were supposed to actually come back like 3 years ago, but then the pandemic screwed everything up. And so they finally brought it back, and but it's not the same story it was going to be, unfortunately. But when I put in my order, I had to make sure I got it. And when I saw DC was doing these 90s covers, did you see that they're doing these like this month, last month, whatever? I had to get this one. It is a chromium cover, if you remember, so much 90s in this cover. Drawn by Brett Booth.
You already talked about this book.
No, I didn't. We were going to.
You said it had a whole bunch of action in it.
No, you did.
Hey, can I make an announcement about this really fast?
Did I talk about it? I didn't think I did.
You said a whole bunch of action in it, and then we compared it to like nonstop Spider-Man.
I don't remember.
Well, you never showed us a book, so this is new.
Yeah, so this is new. This is good.
That's so cool.
I do not like Grifter's hair in this. If you, because he's shaved. Grifter's always been known for his blonde, whippy hair, but his head's shaved, and so it's kind of not shaved completely. And it's got. So if I didn't talk about it, or if I did, I'm just going to give you the rehash. It's not the exact same team we remember from the 90s, obviously. There are like the ones you remember, like Drifter and Zealot and Jacob Marlowe and Void, but they also have Deathblow is the leader of the Wildcats. If you remember Deathblow from the 90s, there's another Jim Lee character who was kind of like the Punisher guy who was.
I know him. I have his comic.
And then Caitlin Fairchild from Gen 13 is also on the team.
I remember Caitlin Fairchild from Gen 13. Classic.
And she's part of the team. I love the beginning of it because it gives a nod to the original Wildcats story, where Grifter is telling this guy that he works for the Damonites. Like, there's Deathblow. That he's telling this guy, like, hey, do you know you work for the Damonites? They're this alien group that's coming, taking over the world, and we're here to fight the Damonites. And then they're like, quit lying to the guy. He's like, hey, he was almost buying it. Like, it's great because that's what the original Wildcats was about. Of course, they have to throw in the normal DC cameos. We get Batgirl, Nightwing, Green Arrow. I think that was all the ones, but it's different. It's not exactly your '90s Wildcats, but I will take it.
Can I say something related to that?
Yeah.
So DC released a series of foil covers,
Yep.
including Justice Society JSA number
Mhm.
1 is a foil cover. Batman number 129, Batman Incorporated number 2, Joker number 2, and Wildcats number 1. Those are all foil covers recently released, and they're different colors. So I think Joker is green.
Yeah, they show them in here. If I can find the right page.
That's pretty cool.
It's not 9.9 no more, James.
I know.
I know you just went right
I
through
like
it.
how they have like this stuff on the back of the.
Did you get 2 of them? Did you buy 2 of them?
I have the first like a.
You guys do that? Do you guys ever buy like 2 copies of comics, one just to put away and one to read?
No, I never.
No, I just don't read them. I just read them digitally.
These are like all the other like covers that they're all like very '90s style.
Go the other way. Go to the left.
Which this way?
There you go. Yeah, go up.
I can't go up anymore. Oh.
Go up. There you go. See how cool it is?
Yeah. And then on the other page they show the here's the this way, I guess. I can't see through the book.
Yeah, there it is. The Justice Society is yellow.
Yeah, the silver,
Batman,
red,
like
gold,
bronze.
yellow, and green. So, and then it tells you all the variant covers, like which ones of the '90s. Like I like that it has like the Superman. Action Comics has the '90s Superman with the long hair, and the one issue of which one is it? It was like Batman. It's like the Batman. Oh, it's issue of Batman, but it's the like ode to the Batman issue 300, where with the Asbat.
Or we got his back broken. Was that one or is that 500?
No, it's issue 300 is when John Paul Valley takes over as Batman.
Right.
That's where my favorite costume was introduced.
The '90s Wonder Woman with the jean jacket. You know, everyone hates.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I want that one.
You want a jacket?
I want that comic.
No.
And then Catwoman has like the old
purplish outfit.
Yeah, the Jim Ballant cover. So.
Hey, speaking of that purple outfit, in the Golden Age book, I believe, you know, they say that Batman has a daughter.
Yeah, Huntress.
Do you think she chose purple, the Huntress outfit, because of her mom was purple Catwoman at one time?
I'm not sure. I think purple is just a color of the night.
Purple?
Because Batman at one point had purple in his.
Wait, because it wasn't until later on when they did like the blue, gray, and yellow. Or the purple.
Well,
he originally was like.
While we've been gone, they also explained why they did that too. And
he had a rainbow costume once. Don't forget that. They had a phase.
Yeah.
Was it Batman 130? They just did when they showed why he changed to the yellow symbol.
Oh, I know why he did. It was to draw the
DC number 241. Look up DC number 241. You'll see the Rainbow Batman. It's so funny. There's a whole series of bat costumes.
But you talking about because the Arch Ego, right? The keep him like balanced or whatever. Oh, he's seen that vision when he was like knocked out, right?
No, he's talking about the actual just rainbow Batman costume.
Yeah.
There was like just a rainbow colored Batman costume he had.
Oh no! Recently they showed why he used a yellow bat symbol because he was about to kill the Joker and he switched to his alternate personality, and that alternate personality with the
Batman of Noir or whatever.
Had the symbol.
Yeah, he has like the red chest piece and everything.
So he came back too. He decided to change the logo to represent that person. So
in 241. What was it? Robin broke his arm, I guess, or Dick Grayson broke his arm, and the Batman had the great idea to create a bunch of suits of different colors. And they went through a series of different ideas and outfits. So
Okay.
that,
One of
At least
the other,
it's
the
not
next
as bad as
book.
pink kryptonite.
No,
I still
The-
think
the-
purple though is a good color. Like I think did Nightwing use purple?
no. Black, blue, red, light blue, yellow.
Well, he's talking about Dick Grayson's bat costume. When he
No,
was
it was
Batman,
just
he
the
would wear
black
like
and
the.
gray.
I thought sometimes he wears like the purple and gray one.
No, it was all black and gray. The
Maybe.
next book I read from this past couple weeks was Masquerade #3 from Dark Horse. That is the Kevin Smith, Andy McElfresh, John Sprangelmeyer with the
How
art.
was that?
This issue is a flashback. I mean, if you remember about this, there's this girl who has this like YouTube show called Bad Felicia, where she investigates people who are doing bad stuff and like kind of puts them on blast, as the kids say. And she has this power to change the way she looks into these other people, and she's been kidnapping these bad people and putting them in cages. So this issue is a flashback issue. We meet the person who is helping her, the doctor who keeps her together, like her Alfred, I guess is the best way to explain it. And so we learn how Felicia uses this and what she uses to change her looks. And we also find out that this doctor is the first person she captured, because this doctor was one of the people who came up with this product that the government or this group of people was using against her and these other orphans when they were younger. And that's what caused all the scarring and stuff you see on her. So this one was in a different tone because it was, like I said, a flashback. So it's not a whole lot of action in it like the other ones have been. But it was neat because you learn more about the characters than you have in the last two issues. So you see a little bit of more like why she's doing what she's doing. Oh, Specs had to go change his pull-ups. He'll be right back.
Okay. Do you have more books you want to talk about?
Oh yeah, I have tons of books. I told you I had 4 pages.
Oh my god, I have 1 page.
The next book I read was Captain America and the Winter Soldier. It was a one-shot. This was the continuation of the story arc that started in Captain America: Sentinel of Liberty that I've been reading, where Steve finds out that his shield was actually designed by this group called the Outer Circle, who are kind of, the best way to explain it, it's 5 of them, and they control the world. They're like the Illuminati is the best way to like probably describe them, where each of them are represented on a point of the star, and whoever the star is like kind of the person who keeps them all in check, so they can't like. And the star right now is obviously Steve Rogers, and Steve finds out this, so now they're trying to get rid of Steve because the star is not supposed to know about the game.
Who are the other 4?
There is no others. He's the star. There's like 5 people, and they just have names like the Revolution, the Money, the Power, Love, and so. But you
They're
meet them in
symbols.
this, yeah. And so, and you're also hundreds of years old. You learn about them in this issue. It's just a one shot. At the end of the last Captain America issue, Bucky had killed the Revolution. And you also find out that Bucky was one of the tips of the star. So each of these tips of stars also have a person. And so he was like the Revolution's tip of his star. And he killed the Revolution. So now Bucky is the Revolution. So it says, like my note here, I said Bucky is now the Revolution, and he enlists Peggy Carter to help him burn it down. So like he's trying to work from the inside to destroy the Outer Circle. And now the story will continue in Captain America: Sentinel of Liberty.
Sentinel of Liberty.
Weird. Yeah, it was a weird like end of a story arc, and then they had this, and now we're going. It's still the same story, but they're, kind of
Is it like they're wrapping it up, or they're just extending it?
Extending it. It was kind of just showing you, okay, now here's what Bucky's stuff is in this story.
Gotcha.
So we don't have to like do issues of just Bucky.
Yeah,
and so we can
now you're
go back. Yeah, now we can go back to Captain America and see all that. I think I have 3 more to do. Stuff of Nightmares, number 3 from Boom. I don't know. This is from R.L. Stein, A.L. Kaplan. I can't remember. Ram Titoff is the colorist. This is. I don't know if any of you are fans of the R.L. Stein adult.
I had goosebumps when I was a kid, like all the books.
Okay, well, you are aware that he does R.L. Stein does write stuff for adults as well, right?
Yeah. Fear Street. I had all the Fear Street too.
Okay, well, in this story so far, you have the Cameron brothers, and they've been trying to create their own Frankenstein-like monster, like bringing life back to the dead, and they've had limited success. In the first issue, we're introduced to Frankie. He's this little, like a kid that they were able to bring back, but he's like deformed and he's really dumb. And you find out all their failed experiments are still alive, but they're not really human anymore. It's hard to explain. They're kind of like zombies. But anyway, so they escape through things, and as the story goes along in this one, they're in a different location now. They're in a house that they used to live in when they were children. And like I said, they've had limited success with their experiments, but there's a tragedy that happens in this issue that finally leads them that could finally lead them to success, but at what cost? So
at what cost?
We have 1 more issue left of this story arc. Stuff of Nightmares number 4. It's really good. You have a main character who's kind of like the Crypt Keeper, and he has this collection of stuff. So he always, like, before the story starts, he's like, "Oh, before we go back, I want to show you this in my collection." And in this issue, he has a fork and a knife. It's like a sterling silver fork and a knife, and he says, "It's not what it is that makes it worth so much. It's where it came from. It was from the Donner Party." So he said, "I wonder who got eaten with this fork and knife." But he says, "I'll never wash them."
That's disturbing. I get it.
Yeah.
That's a little wrong. Yeah.
So that gives you the feeling of that. One of the books we have been reading, and I forgot to put in there, and I just happened to see it in the list today when I was going through. I was like, "Oh crap, I didn't put that in the file." Was The Boogeyman number 3 from the Blaze.
Yeah.
So I did read that today just because it was there. And as you know, it's about this boy whose family gets killed by a boogeyman, and the boogeyman, Father Death, saves him, and now they're all on the run from this new generation of boogeymen who are set out to kill all the old boogeymen. And it just continues that story. At the end, Father Death has to fight this boogeyman, and he has his pet wolf guy. He has him go save the kid, get the kid out of there. So that's how this one ends. I'm not sure how long of a run this is, if it's a limited series or not. I cannot pronounce the people's names who do it because this book is actually a Filipino story that is then, what's the word I'm talking about? When you take one language and change it to another. Translated to English. So, yeah, I feel like it's the guy who writes his name is like something like Mateo Salvis, and the artist is Dejet. I don't know, but
you enjoyed it.
I did. The art is great in this book. It's very. I always say it's a dark book, but it's colorful at the same time. I don't know how, like, you get that. Like, it's very dark toned, but it's vibrant dark colors. So I don't know.
I know.
If
I
that makes
totally
any
appreciate
sense.
that. But that's what I like about Batman. Often, is the dark tones. Sometimes where the colors are vibrant in their own way. When you really have the great ones, that's why I'm kind of excited if they do it right for the Kingdom Come series. If they bring that into like the DC universe, make that more. I don't know if James Gunn is thinking something more stoic or something. But you can get some good cinematographers. They did it before. Christopher Nolan made some great Batman movies.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it would be interesting. And then the last book that I have that I read was Exterminators, number 3 of 5 from Marvel. It's by Leah Williams, Carlos Gomez, Brian Valencia. Boom Boom, Jubilee, and Dazzler are out on a night to celebrate Dazzler breaking up with her ex-boyfriend. But the party goes a little sideways and they get captured by the previously mentioned ex-boyfriend, who turns out to be a vampire. And they run into X-23 along the way. And now the 4 women have to fight their way out of these games that he's putting them in. But we finally find out in this issue at the end who's actually behind all the games to begin with. So it's interesting. This has a disclaimer at the beginning that it's not for kids, and it's great because it's written by a woman, which I appreciate the boob and butt jokes in it when it's written by a woman, because it's not a guy who's like, oh, I'm just gonna over sexualize these women. It's a woman sexualize women characters.
Yeah, I get it.
So it's like, so you can't but it is so funny because they make fun of Dazzler's butt. She has this big butt, so the whole way through it, they're just making jokes about her butt. And there's a scene where Jubilee and Boom Boom are blindfolded because they're fighting mirror images of themselves. They're fighting mirrored images of themselves. So if anytime they look in the mirror, it makes more images. So they wear the blindfolds, and Jubilee's just shooting her things, and just Boom Boom yells, and she's like, "Oh, you burnt my boob." It's just, well, I can't help it, as big as they are. And it's just, yeah, it's just, and then the whole story is being told to Xavier by them. Like, they have them arrested for some reason. They're all like handcuffed.
And they're just being teenagers, though.
Yeah, and they're like, and they're just telling the story, and Xavier's like, "Oh, can we not talk about it? Like, can we just get to?"
It's so embarrassing.
Yeah, because they're just all there, and they're just like, they said something about. She's like, "Why are we talking about her butt and about my butt?" And one of the other girls say something, and X-23 is like, "It is a pretty big butt." Like,
that's so funny.
It's a fun comic book. Like, it's not like it doesn't take itself seriously. It's just these 4 girls.
But it's Marvel.
Yeah,
and it's like
it's the X-Men.
It's got those elements that are similar to, I guess, like what DC's hoping to do with like Suicide Squad, on some levels.
Yeah, like, let me see if I can. I have it right here. I'm gonna somewhere. If my computer decides to work, there's a disclaimer.
I'm gonna read that one for sure.
Yeah, I've put it on every week. So here we go. At the very beginning of the book, they have this disclaimer. And if it starts, my computer is running so slow lately. All right. It's Exterminators number 3. Here, I probably won't be able to put it up. It says, the following issue is recommended for mature audiences only. It contains gore, comic mischief, extensive discussion of Dazzler's ass, partial nudity, also more than partial nudity, and is probably not suitable for any audiences. Reader discretion is advised.
That's so great. Yeah. I'm all about it. That's fantastic.
All right, Specs got his pull-ups changed. He's back. He's ready to go.
Wow, I gotta read that one for sure.
Yeah, it's great.
I only have a couple that I wanted to talk about. The Nightwing Annual. Did you guys read the Nightwing Annual?
Obviously, I didn't, because I went through everything I read.
Well, all right. You have to be all crass about it. I don't know what's the term. Sassy. That's
Sassy. I'm a-
Nightwing annual. So it was like 3 stories, right, of like the over the last year, I guess, that they really picked out about Nightwing that were, sort of like quick but noteworthy. And I gotta say, this was brutal. Like the very first one had like a reverse Batman story in a way, like a psychopathic sort of Alfred.
Yeah,
Like
because when I put the
Shelton.
books in, I don't get to read them like really, but I see them all, so I know the stories like kind of. So I remember this where the kid, the
Sees the
missing
Graysons
arm.
died. He's in the audience of the circus, and he's like a mute. And until he sees like, and he's killed a cat or some shit, and his like butler had like killed somebody and took over that guy's identity, and is like raising basically like a serial killer. And the kid didn't say anything until one day they're at the circus, and that's when like Dick Grayson's parents fall and die in front of the kid's face, and he becomes this like psychopathic killer that goes around killing kids' parents right in front of their faces.
Yeah, I
They're
like
like,
when they're in the car. He's like, "That was awesome."
yeah, I was like, this is disturbing. I was like reading this, going, wow, man, DC went to a different level with this idea. I mean, Dick Grayson's so brutalized anyway. I mean, the second story was good though, because it was like he had his own three-legged puppy, right? And he goes on a date, and he leaves the date, and he goes, I wonder what's going to happen to my dog and what my dog thinks about. And I took like little screenshots of it because it was so adorable. The dog comes in and saves the day and scares Catwoman away, and then he gets like a little puppy prize,
And
from
they made
Wonder
the
Woman.
statue of him.
Yeah, they make a statue. It was so cute. I was like, ah. So yeah, so that one was really good. And then like finally, the funniest, not funniest, but like the darkest one, honestly, if you think about it. I mean, the first one was dark, but the last one was like kind of dark in its own way, where Nightwing is training Superboy, but the elements where Batman is like fucking like go again, right? His whole attitude is like you can never make a mistake, and then like cuts to Nightwing telling Superboy, mistakes happen. You have to fail if you can succeed. Like it was like the reverse every time. So then,
Yeah,
Batman was like you must always like try and try again until and every time it would flip to like Nightwing telling Superboy, it's okay if you take breaks. And then Batman's like, you can never take breaks, and Alfred's like, you sure not just one? And so it was like showing how like the abuse basically. Oh yeah, that's what it was. At the very end of the book, Superboy says, how did you learn to be such a good teacher? And Nightwing replies, Batman taught me. And then it cuts down to like the last panel of like fucking Robin on his knees bleeding and Batman standing over him going, saying, go again, practice harder or whatever it is. And that's like the brutal truth about it is like, I guess if you really want to like cut it in this dark world. And then like the other book I read was Planet Hulk / Scar, the Son of Hulk.
yeah,
And that one was an interesting concept because it kind of evolves the Hulk in like a million years in the future a little bit, where Hulk kind of created his own race in a sort of way. I mean, or he's there and he's part of the same group, but he doesn't know how exactly. It's I mean it helps. I don't know. It helps like add some elements of like the Hulk storyline that I don't think you could think about until like you like really jump into like his backstory. You know what I mean? It sounds like everything you talked about with Captain America, how he's in
hmm
like the thick of his storyline and the 5 stars. Like that sounds like a total like cerebral Captain American story. This is the same thing for Hulk fans. You know what I mean? It's all like, let me show you like 7 characters that are all Hulk characters, right? And you have to like get into all of their backstory and understand how they're related to the Hulk specifically. It's not like an Avengers story or something like that. But the interesting thing is that the second half of the book is Scar, the son of the Hulk, and he's on an alien planet, and Jen She-Hulk shows up, and she's like trying to like basically teach him a good lesson, and they're attacking this alien that's really ugly, and like Scar jumps in and saves the alien, and like with the help of like She-Hulk. So the other part of that I just wanted to say I really appreciated was the lessons that Marvel still tries to throw in there. Like it doesn't matter what somebody looks like, if they're just not having trouble communicating or whatever, doesn't mean you have to be dicks about it. You can like maybe, and so then like She-Hulk says, well, you better do something quick about it, Scar, because these like bounty hunters have like a whole list, and she's gonna help use her lawyer skills. She knows some friendly judges. She's trying to work it out to save the aliens. You know what I mean? And it's like Scar is like doing like Men in Black's like I don't know, Black Ops Division or something like that. So those are the two books that I was like able to get through. I want to get through all the other ones when I have time, but I jumped on the new stuff as well. So
All right.
Um,
Specs, are you there? I just want to see if Specs is here. He said he was back.
I am here.
Okay, I haven't heard from you, so I wasn't
Yeah,
sure.
'cause my daughters are right here by my mic, so like I'm trying to cut it out so she won't talk in damn mic.
All right, all right. Well, go ahead, Joe. I know what book you. One of the
Well-
books you read, anyways.
I wanted to talk about something because he was talking about the Nightwing annual. I have a Batman annual. This is one where when Superboy punches through reality and Jason Todd comes back. Superboy Prime and everything. I was
Yeah.
thinking, I was like, yeah, I have that. But the books I read was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Armageddon, Spawn. I think it was like 335 or something like that.
Yeah, 335.
Yeah, because then, and sometime this month, 336 is coming out.
I think it's.
Yeah, because it says at the end December 2022. But then I read Edge of the Spider-Verse and a few other books I can't think of the name of right now. I have them all in here, but I'll wait to talk about Spawn last. But so with the Edge of the Spider-Verse one, it was kind of confusing since I only read issue 2 of it. I haven't read issue 1 yet. So what it seems like kind of is going on is like there's a whole like spider virus where they're like turning into like spider people. And like the first issue, like issue 2 starts off with like them bringing Tom Holland into the comic book because it's like Tom Holland's like new costume. It's not the like tech one. It has his logo and everything, but it's like his classic red and blue costume. And like they're going against like 2099 and all of them, but they're like all like mutated spider people and whatnot. And it's like I can't think of her name right now. Hold on, let me pull up the comic. It's like she's like turning them all into like the spider people or whatever, like spider humans.
Oh, that's the Madam. What's her
Yeah.
name, right?
Yeah.
Madam Web.
Yeah.
Madam Web.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
but,
don't they bring the vampire guy?
Yeah, because he's trying to help them. Yeah, he's helping them, and then you get to meet like some of the newer multiverse ones. Like there's a Kane, not Kane. Is it Kane the one that I can't remember his name now? The guy who hunts Spider-Man all the time because or whatever. He's like the big game hunter.
It's Craven.
Craven, yeah, I couldn't think of it, but Craven is in an alternate universe Spider-Man, and he has like this really wacky costume and everything. You get to meet like a Spider Woman bride, like her outfit's like a wedding outfit, but she's a spider person and whatnot. Like you meet all these new characters and whatnot. It looks like Spider-Man still has his Octavius outfits because he has like the little balls on his gauntlets or whatever. But yeah, I read that and it was like, I don't know. I have to continue to read it to really know what's going on. Other than that, they're like just some of the people have there's something going on with the spider people where they're turning into like spider monsters. I read also the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Armageddon comic, which is weird because none of them have their like eye things. They're like just wearing these white cloths that cover their mouth and everything, and they're like fighting against either Shredder's daughter or like just an apprentice, but she like dresses kind of like him, and she fights them and everything, and just kind of like in a
samurai kind of thing.
Yeah, she dresses like a female Shredder.
Yeah, but she just doesn't wear the helmet. That's about it.
Right.
But
So
Shredder's
a samurai thing.
Yeah, but like so like really nothing happened much in that episode besides just her fighting them, and they just talk while they're fighting. But that's about like really all that happens in that one is they fight and talk. There was another one I read. What else was there? I can't remember what else I read. I can't remember. Now the one thing that now I'm just gonna talk about the Spawn comic, but this issue I was talking to me and my dad before the even issue came out. We were talking about is that right now in the comics, Kane is back. He's like
yeah.
If
if anyone who's read it, Cagliostro, if you remember the old guy that helped Spawn early on,
Yeah.
Now he's like a villain, but they've
Yeah, he
given
was like a
more
Lex
backstory
Luthor
to
looking
him.
outfit.
He's actually Cain from Cain and Abel from the Bible.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So
But,
when he
like,
died, finally went to die, and he went to hell. He's one of the. He's
he
helped
helped make the
Violator
spawns.
develop the Hell Spawn,
Right.
and
Yeah.
he was the original Spawn. Melbulja gave him,
That all
made
makes
him the
sense now.
first Spawn.
But he
And that
didn't have
made-
like a black outfit. He just had the arches.
Right.
But But the one thing me and my dad were talking about is that, so we know what's going on with Cain, but what happened to Abel? Because we know he died. Like, that's just the whole thing with the Bible, is that Cain got jealous of Abel and killed him.
Yeah, and killed him.
And one of the main characters, like one of these characters you meet, are the Redeemers. They're like basically Heaven's version of Spawn. But there's always this one unique one that stands out, and it's
the Dark Redeemer.
the Dark Redeemer. And at the
He's the
very end of
original
the
Redeemer.
comic, yeah.
Yeah,
At the very end of the comic, it gives us a big twist on who that is. And we finally figure out that Abel has been there the entire time. And he's the Dark Redeemer.
yes.
Oh, hey, look at that.
He's like, and he's like, "Hello, brother. Now prepare to die." And
To die.
I read that,
Oh,
and I was freaking out.
We
because I
were
was like,
we were talking about it the day before because Joey was here, and
Yeah.
I got the books and I started reading them, and I was like, "Oh my god, Joey!" We were just asking where this guy was, and
Yeah.
here he
Yeah.
is. So that was
oh man, that's great.
Yeah,
I love
I
those
was-
pop-up, like the great surprises are the best like that.
yeah. Like I've in the past couple of years I've got back into reading Spawn. Like I used to read it religiously for a while, and then
"Stop." and
then it
got
got
back in.
really wordy. It was hard to read, and it got very religious kind of stuff into it.
Mhm.
And it kind of like, and there was a time where Al wasn't Spawn. It was
Oh, yeah.
this other
It was,
guy, Jim Neighbors.
He's like a white dude that has like blonde
this
hair.
blonde guy. He was
Let's see if I
Spawn for
find
a
a
while,
good picture of him.
and he wasn't dead. So
Yeah,
you know how like Al was dead and he was
Right.
alive. Yeah,
That
and he
dude.
was yeah.
It's amazing.
So around issue 300, I started getting back into it, and then 2 years ago, I guess they came out with the Spawn universe, and there's a new Spawn book every week. There's Gunslinger,
And Scorch.
the Scorched, and then King Spawn.
Yeah,
And,
which I'm still waiting for volume 2 because I've read volume 1 already 3 times, waiting for volume 2 to come out.
King
Because
Spot is that good?
I like to buy the Spawn books by volume, so I buy these, and I
Yeah,
just
he
read
usually
these
gets
because it's just easier to read them all at once, and then wait instead of like reading and then waiting a week and then reading and then waiting a week.
Yeah, but you've read
But,
it 3 times.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've read that
He's read
3 times. Same
Kingspawn.
thing as I'm on my 3rd time of reading Kingdom Come.
You're into it. I love that. Kingdom Come
Yeah,
is one of the greatest books ever written. Like,
It
such a
is.
great
It's like
story.
one. That's why I'm kind of worried that when James Gunn said he was going to work on a Kingdom Come movie, because I don't want him to kind of ruin that. and
direct
the
it.
people who
I don't
never
want him
really-
to direct it or write it. He could be
Yeah,
I don't want him to be
executive
a part of
producer.
it like
I don't
that,
want-
but I like it to be developed. I can see how that's a good film.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but he has a tendency to put comedy in things. And,
Yeah, but the
There's
one
no
thing that
comedy in it, really.
the one thing as
It's
well is
dark
that
as
someone
fuck.
said is Kingdom Come is
yeah.
a really
Well,
good book.
so is Suicide Squad, and he found a way to.
So yeah, but someone like this guy I watch on like TikTok stuff. He said that Kingdom Come it would be kind of hard to do because it's a really good book, but it's a book on that time. It's based off that era of time that was going on during that time. That's why a lot of the characters are very much like designed very weirdly because it's based off of other characters that were going on around that time. Like the main villain. Let me see if I can find him.
Magog or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Magog. He's or Mago or whatever.
Magog.
He's literally just
Magog.
Cable.
Yeah,
Because
it's
Cable was
Magog.
big at that time, so they just made it Cable. Also, I didn't know this until way later on that American Commando, who was, if I'm correct, is a Spawn character, is in this book as well, but he's like designed really weird. He's like really like gunned out and everything. But like it's like again, it's very much based on that era of time. Like literally a character called 666. You wouldn't be
Yeah,
able to
in
like
the
name
90s.
that in modern
Yeah.
day because people would find offense to it. That's where like I would love to see it. I just am gonna be scared on how they have to do it because they might have to change a lot of stuff because this is like really based around the 90s and 80s around that comic era.
Yeah,
Because like
I mean, but they
at
said
the
that
time
about
it's still
Watchmen
Captain
too,
Marvel.
you
It's
know,
not even Shazam.
and the stuff that they do with Christopher Nolan's work had like certain Frank Miller era stuff that says you can only do it because it's around this era, you know.
Yeah.
But they pulled it off. If they do it right, I agree, it'll be great. If they do it like James Gunn did those other films, it'll be not the best. But like those movies, the first, I don't know. It depends on how you look at his work, you know. So.
All right. Specs, was there any books that you read that we haven't discussed yet?
From the ones I heard, yeah. Let me go to my thing.
I gotta jump off because I gotta get to work, guys. I'm sorry. But
yeah, right. It's always something with you. If it's not birthdays, it's holidays, it's work. When are you going to get your priorities right? A hangover, a birthday party. You need to get your priorities straight.
All right. I want to. Can we do it next week? Because I really want to talk about Axe. I do want to talk about the Avengers X-Men Eternals event.
I was talking about the spray. Okay.
Yeah, no. If that was our sponsor, that'd be great. And now, a word from Axe. Joey here has a new bottle of shampoo he'd like to display for everybody. At this moment, we're going to be featuring this great bathtub with James getting his new body wash from Axe. But no, Avengers, X-Men, and Eternals, that whole event, I've read everything. I was like halfway through Omega, the last one. And the whole thing was like kind of fascinating. So I can't wait to talk to you about it like on the next episode. Because I'll also try to get through the Dark Crisis stuff too. And maybe we could do like a comparison of like the Marvel event and the DC event, and how they stacked up for this last year. What do you think?
Yeah, one sucks, one don't.
Well, yeah, I always like to see what changes. What status quo changes at the end of these? Like, what was the purpose of this event? Because in the old days when we did them, they would cause major things to change.
Yeah, but
we'll talk about it next week.
I mean, but Axe was really sort of like a self-contained thing. It's fascinating how they made it work out. So I like that.
I have theories, so we'll touch on them
buddy.
next week.
I'll talk to you guys later. It was a great show. Thank you. Bye.
See you. All right, Specs.
All right, so I finished reading Blood Syndicate.
Oh, okay.
It seemed like, well, I talk about that after I talk about my next book. But the Blood Syndicate ends with they're fighting what the fuck's his name? Genocide. Oh, what's his name? Apocalypse. I can't think of his name. But some kind of
I don't think it's Apocalypse.
some kind of genocide name. Holocaust. That's his name. Holocaust.
Oh, that's another Marvel guy. Oh, they're gonna get sued.
But they fight him, and mid-fight they get slaughtered. But while they're getting slaughtered, Icon and Rocket comes to help the fight. But one of the characters, she can go back in time, so she goes back in time and she tells them where they messed up at and how they can correct and win the fight. Because I believe Icon and Rocket lost the fight as well. So when she comes back in time and tell them they fight Holocaust and they win the fight right before Icon and Rocket comes. And they tell Icon and Rocket, this is our territory. We will protect us, and y'all focus about everything outside on the other side of the bridge. Because I guess it's a bad taste in their mouth with Icon and Rocket because they don't help. They're the helpless. They doing the whole Justice League Superman thing. They just focus on major problems and not the local problems, I guess. So that happened to Blood Syndicate. Then in Hardwire, the same thing happened. Well, I think in Blood Syndicate, Rocket just showed up, but in Hardwire, Icon showed up to help him in the final fight, and it was basically the same thing, but he only seen, but it was more like a bitterness because I guess he was seen as like a villain because he been doing a lot of destruction and stuff like that. So what I think Milestone is doing is about to do a Civil War type thing, have all their little heroes go against Icon Rocket. So it has the Bullet Syndicate, Hardwire, maybe even Static go against Icon Rocket because it's a hierarchy type thing going on. So maybe that's gonna happen. I don't know. I see that in the future for the Milestone, era. I also read I Am Batman, which I talked about earlier. So I don't know how many issues it is, but the story arc takes place after he fought the guy with the iron with spikes on it. He's now focusing on finding who killed the Anarchy. That's what he's trying to do that case. And the female question comes, and it kind of job shadows him or watches over him, or it's not like a team up because she's more focused on her own thing.
Yeah.
But the thing is with that is, I guess she's trying to come has her own question and trying to be like better than the old question, I guess. And on top of him trying to push him towards being like Bruce Wayne versus being like somebody else. And she's showing him how much he's a light to Bruce when really he didn't think he was. Then on top of that, his little sister is starting to like mature into his Robin. She's going out trying to save one of her friends, or I think somebody who works at the community, goes to the community and he puts on the red and green outfit and get her little stick and goes out in the fight. But I believe she's a child, but I don't know if she's like early college or whatever. I don't know her age. Sometimes she's drawn as a kid, sometimes she's drawn like a little older. So I don't know how old she really is, but it still looks like that grooming her to become a Robin or some kind of Robin type figure. But you know how that goes. Then, like I said before, it comes to the realization that he needs the old Jonathan a favor. So he goes to join the Justice League or whatever the little group of heroes in Dark Force going on. So that series jumps to, I guess, the motorcycle scene that we talked about earlier, which again, it's pretty weird. It's a lot of people that can fill the void of certain characters. Like I said, like with Batman, you got Robin, Nightwing, you got Jace that can fill that role. And Aquaman, you got 3 different ones. Green Arrow, you got 3 different ones. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah, that is somebody who does come back to life though in the last issue. I forgot when you said the arrows. Roy Harper.
We're talking about Roy?
Yeah, Roy Harper's back alive.
He's been back. He came back alive in Titans Academy. That was like a surprise birthday present thing.
But maybe like this is, but I guess other people in the DC universe now know that he's alive because they're like, Roy, how are you alive? He goes, long story, I'll tell you later.
Yeah, because they kept him a secret. They told him don't leave the Titans Tower, but Deathstroke destroyed it, so he had nowhere to live. What else did I read? Okay, Wolverine.
Oh.
Did you talk about that?
No, I haven't. I've been reading it though, but I haven't talked about it in the show.
Yeah, so after the whole, Internals thing, now everybody's going back to their thing. So now, I want to say this storyline is running current to X-Force. So basically,
yeah, it seems like it. Which issue is it that you're talking about?
Because the last 3 issues of Wolverine, it goes what I'm talking about now. Then when you go to X-Force, I think the last 2. Because I don't think the 3rd one came out yet.
Yeah, because I know the last 2 issues of Wolverine that I've read are that the Beast agenda, where Beast is like...
Yeah, Beast is like... Beast been having a control issue, I guess. So I think him and what's the girl who's dressed like Jubilee?
The one who's in charge of the security. I can't think of her name.
Yeah, I think them 2 are having problems with the X-Force and commanding people where to go on the missions. So they was in a danger room training on the
Oh, yeah.
Wolverine issue, and they were supposed to kill these people. What are
The Iraq or
yeah,
whatever
people from
those,
Mars.
yeah, who were like being pirates in.
Yeah, and it was a morality issue, and Wolverine didn't want to kill the people because they didn't commit a crime yet, which alludes back to the Civil War II thing concept.
Yep.
So Beast's like, all right, I got something for you, and you'll see. So I think Beast set him up,
Yeah, that's what it sounds
and
like.
Beast ended up like going to this like black market thing and buying Logan to use
And
for his
slowly
own
killing
thing.
him. Yeah, it was like
Yeah,
killed him so he could get his own Logan. And somehow he's controlling him with that
yeah,
stuff he put on his neck, that necklace
with
thing.
the collar.
Yeah.
So now he has Logan doing all kind of secret missions, killing people, like doing his own agenda type stuff. Meanwhile, in the X Force, they really need Logan in some of these fights, and he's not there. And like you can just see it, like the effect how it has. And
Yeah, because they have that one scene in Wolverine where what's her name? Domino goes to the bar to get what's her face, and she's like, "Well, I had to come get you before you, pretty much before you got too drunk and couldn't talk." She's got blood all over her.
And it's funny because in the X Force issues, you see why she's drinking. She's drinking because she got freaking Omega Red and Deadpool doing all these murder missions, and she can't deal with the guilt of it because the body count and all the collateral damage paperwork she got to do is overwhelming for her. So she's been drinking.
Yeah.
Which I noticed that prior to, I guess, when they start planting the thing in Omega Red's head, that's when I seen she start drinking a lot.
Yeah.
But it looks like now, like every pound, she's shit-faced drunk.
Yeah. Well, they're both written by Benjamin Percy, so it's good that he can like pretty much, carry the storylines through those two books.
Yeah, that's great. These writers, they keeping everything home in the same story arc because look at DC, everything's everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else I read? The Marauders. Did I read that? Oh yeah. So the Marauders, they have found these older mutants from, I guess, the Shi'ar Empire.
Okay.
They bring them back alive, and they are going back in time to stop the war or help them during this war, which I assume would be a bad idea because that's messing up the timeline. But at the same time, as soon as they go back, first, what's her name? Xavier's sister, Nova.
That's what you're gonna Nova. I was gonna ask her if she's still there.
Yeah, she's still there, and she keep warning them, like, "Hey, don't do this. It's like a death sentence. Don't do it. Let's not do it." But they don't listen. They fought Kitty Pryde. They go to the past. They start fighting and everything. And as soon as they start fighting, one of the viruses or whatever they're fighting takes over Draken, or Fang as he goes by now.
Yeah.
And they're like up shit's creek now because if he can't fire them off with his healing factor, they don't stand a chance. And that's where that issue ends. So
that whole Fang thing just makes me laugh because there must have been there's a handful of characters who have worn that costume, like Fang, Wolverine, X-23, and Dawkins, and who knows who else. Like, there's other people, but it's just like, come on.
Yeah, and I had to go back and read and see when his name actually changed to Fang. I'm like, when he turned Fang, like, when the hell that happened?
Well, he never really had a X-Men name. Because his real name, he has a Japanese name. His name's it's right there. It's AKI. What the heck? I can't remember. But Dawkins is a name that's like a slur that the kids in Japan would call him because he's half, white.
Canadian.
Well, yeah, he's half white, and I was gonna say American, but no, he's not. But yeah, so he's like half, he's a half and half. So that was like like It means mutt or something in Japanese.
Oh, okay.
And so he just started using it as a name, just to, like for, he's taking the name back.
Like on My Hero Academia, like Deku.
Yeah.
So that's Marauders. I said X-Force. X-Men. You was talking about it before about who's in the vault. Now I don't read it and seen who's in the vault and seen and read past that. So we talked about X-23 being in the vault, and they bring her out of the vault, and you seeing what happened to Darwin. Darwin is now part of the Matrix, basically.
Yeah.
But my big thing about the issue was, if you read the file reports, it said that his Sage is her name.
Sage, yep, that's it.
Sage says his file was way bigger than Sense file was when he got uploaded.
Yeah.
But I guess mid-upload, it shrunk back to the regular size. So
a lot of things were omitted.
Yeah, I think Forge went in and changed stuff himself because he didn't want them to find out what really happened inside the vault.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in the vault because I have to go back and read the first story arcs when they were in the past, not past, but in the future with the Chimeras, and see about the vault. Then I can't remember, but I love how everything's going through the old stuff.
Yeah, and you've read the couple issues when Sync and Darwin and X-23 went into the vault.
Yeah.
So I'm just interested what they're gonna do with two Lauras.
Well, they call Laura Prime in regular Laura, but it's an easy fix though. All I have to do is kill one of them and just
once one of them dies, you just don't bring that one back.
Easy fix.
It's like, all right, whichever one of you lives longer, that gets to be the.
It's like 50 Magnetos, 50 Nightcrawlers, and 50 Logans floating around in space right now. So I mean. Oh, speaking of Logan, I love how they said like every time he comes back alive, he's like real feral.
Like, wouldn't you be mad if you had to go through that bonding process all over again?
Yeah, that was pretty funny. What else I read? Did I read anything else? I don't think I read anything else. Oh, Way X? What Way X? Oh, was that part of the Axis when Nightcrawler grew the horns?
No.
Yeah, so in Way of X, no, that's not Way of X.
Legion of X.
So something happened in Nightcrawler's DNA when he got reborn, and now he's like looking like demonic, and people starting to fear him, and it's alluding to maybe he has another mutant ability because of that now.
Oh, second mutation.
Yeah, so they just like tiptoed around that idea on that issue. It's only been one issue, so the second one hasn't came out yet. But that's pretty weird because that whole Legion of X, they like cops. So I don't know, like him being like half demon has to do with anything. He's not going to the Knights of X books. He's gonna stay in his own books. Like him having horns doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
That's about it. I don't think I read anything else. I got a question though. I was gonna do a video about it. DC has a big three of like Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, and X-Men. Who would be the big three?
In the X-Men?
Yeah. See, I said Cyclops, Wolverine, and Storm. I've seen people say Jean Grey.
Yep, Cyclops, Jean, and
Xavier probably would be one as well.
Yeah, I don't know because
said Xavier too.
But he's been gone at times, and he's
but the same thing with Jean Grey. She's been gone too, and if she's there, she's either Phoenix or Marvel Girl, and Marvel Girl sucks.
Yeah.
And now Jean Grey is good as a character, but 20 years she's been terrible. And I also heard people insert Kitty Pryde or
I can't see
Magneto
that.
as well as Emma Frost. So what are y'all opinions? Who y'all be in the big three of X-Men?
I still say it's Cyclops, Wolverine, and Jean Grey because they're like the head of the family, kind of.
Yeah. Wolverine's kind of like
and they have
the
that triangle going. So
So
I mean,
the Storm, Cyclops, and Logan.
yeah,
Wolverine's
they,
like the
they
drunk
don't share
uncle.
a bedroom. Like,
Yeah, because they actually like I see it because their storylines all been significant and they all are leaders in some right. With Jean Grey, I don't think she ever led a
yep, she did.
She did.
Yep, she was the leader of the X-Men Red when she first came back. When everyone loved that book, and she had that different costume. It's kind of like her
the
now.
blue and red.
The blue and red one. Yeah.
I don't know. I remember Jean Grey. She seemed like a Mary Sue to me. I didn't really care to too much, like being grown, like the current books, until she came out as a kid. And it was like
my favorite.
Logan.
My whole favorite part of that when they came back, when Beast started going bad and brought them back as kids, was the one scene where Scott, like adult Scott, is talking to her alone. Like they're sitting there and he's talking to her. And Kitty comes over and says, I don't ever want to see you alone with her again.
Well, that is funny because that's the whole reason why it's Old Man Logan and not Logan for the same reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean.
Yeah.
And she wasn't grown. Jean Grey wasn't around right then, right?
No, because she was dead.
Yeah. So, yeah, it just, I don't know.
Yeah, it was just wrong. Like, she's a 16-year-old girl.
Yeah. Then another thing about that whole thing, how teenage Scott hated grown-up Scott.
Yeah.
And he went to join a different team. I don't know what team he went to go join, but he joined a whole different team completely.
Well, he went and stayed with his dad. Remember, he went in outer space.
Oh yeah, that's what happened. Yeah.
because that Jean didn't like him the way he liked her. She actually liked Angel.
Yeah.
For a little while. Not Angel. That was X-23 and Angel. She liked, who was it?
One of the New Mutants, right?
I'm trying to remember. It was somebody else that she liked, and it was just like this whole, because that's when she outed Bobby as being gay.
It's that old?
Yeah.
Wow. Which mean? What Bobby? Which one?
Iceman. She outed him as being
Iceman?
gay.
The Snowball Iceman?
Well, yeah, she outed him as being gay, and that made the old one realize, oh my God, I'm gay.
Wow, I thought the grown-up Jean Grey did it.
No, it was the because she just didn't. She still didn't have control of her powers, so she would just like, and then she would just blurt out stuff all the time. She just like whatever people were thinking, she would just like comment on it.
Damn. I really thought that was grown-up Jean Grey did it. Nope. I didn't know it was kid Jean Grey.
It was kid Jean Grey.
Wow.
I actually started liking the kid, having them there. But
X-Men got so boring. Like, you gotta think what's going on right now. Freaking Kitty Pryde and Colossus and like Gentle and Magneto. Like, it was weird.
Yeah. But I was like, oh, I like this. Bringing back these, and making them like be out of time. Like, they have to learn like what.
It would have been better if they came in there talking like Soldier Boy did. Like, why are there black kids at freaking at cat school?
Oh my gosh! All right. Well, next week I know for sure we're going to be looking at Dark Web #1. That's the X-Men Spider-Man kind of crossover with Evil Ben Riley and what's her name? Madeline Pryor.
Yeah.
So that'll be good start. And I think very soon we'll be starting the Sins of Sinister.
That's the After Dark Web. Right after.
So, I mean, we should be going into that soon. That's interesting because I've always liked Mr. Sinister in a way.
What did he mean when he said we gotta look out for each other with diamonds on our head? Forge has a diamond?
Oh. I don't know. I wondered that when I first read it too. I'm like, what? Yeah, so I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he knows something we don't. That's maybe like a little hint of something.
Then another thing, what's the difference between his power and Tony Stark?
Who's Forge's?
Yeah.
Well, because Tony needs to I got to figure out how to make this. Forge is like, I thought of this, I can make it.
Oh.
So anything he thinks of, he knows how to make. So he can think of.
But Tony gonna figure out how to make it.
Yeah, but Tony has to research and do all the scientific.
So is he artistic?
Oh, I don't know. Probably not. He just autistic.
It's like an autism thing.
Yeah, he has what's that? Asperger's.
Yeah.
That's the trick behind Forge. He has Asperger's. Anything else you want to say before we close, Joe?
No, I'm good. I'll say anything. Go.
All right, I will probably be putting the new books up. I'm going to check when we get off of here to see if I have them yet, and that way we can pick from them for next week's show. So I forgot what I was going to say. So I would say same geek time, same geek channel, but we always have a different time every week and a different day. So that doesn't help.
I think we pick Friday this next week.
You think we're going to do Friday next week? Okay. But so we will. You just got to watch our Facebook and the YouTube and our Twitch channel and just see when we're on and catch us. But next week I think it's going to be our end of the year show. We're going to be talking about our best and worst books of the year. And get ready to head into 2023. We're going to be off for the holidays for a few weeks. When we come back in the new year, we're going to have some changes in the show, some new segments to do, and have lots of fun. So be on the lookout for that. Until next week, gentlemen, you have a great week.